All right. Welcome back. Hang on. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. We are back for another night of playing some Cloud. After last week's little perusal into what's going on in Ambroise's world with the aggro list, we're going back to the old standby. We talked about it a lot last week. Kind of tagging back in here with the caveat that we're going back to some old cards that weren't in the Ambroise list were played in like some of my old cloud lists pre Relic Fest, and that's I kind of want to try playing the Armageddons again. Getting itself Ravages Award, something we talked about at the end of the stream, as something that was actually feeling pretty good when the rest of the cards that were in that edition were kind of feeling awkward and clunky and not really useful in the ways you wanted them to. The Geddons felt pretty good against a lot of Cloud's Wars matchups, the heavy control decks, the combo decks, stuff like that. So kind of wanted to try to fit them back in. They can definitely be awkward. Um, Dual Commander is a format that inherently you're just fighting for board position a lot of the time, a lot of creature decks going on. So sometimes if you're at parity or on the back foot, then again can be pretty detrimental to cast. But there are cards that felt pretty good, and I kind of want to just try them again. Especially stuff like Lumra hanging around. We played against Flubs, kind of like the rug version of the same sort of like lands engine Lumra deck. And Geddon was really good there. Always plenty of control decks and stuff. So we're going to try it again. So we're going to make 2 cuts, and we're also just going to add Flagstones back in over the basic planes pretty easily. Now that we have 2 Geddons in addition to the Dust Bowls, ways for the Flagstones to get blown up, it seems like the correct choice. And I think I'm going to cut the Thraben Charm. It's a card that's always like been a little bit awkward. I liked how versatile it is in terms of like the exiling graveyards has been really relevant. Nice against Lumra, can be a removal spell in a pinch. Removes enchantments, extra removal versus like a Sararak, some of the other combo decks that need those like things in play. But it is, for its versatility, it can be a little bit clunky, especially in that creature removal slot. So maybe we'll try a match without it. And then the other card I was going to cut, I think I was going to cut Aven Interrupter as a card that Cloud just by nature of how the deck functions is very much like a tap out deck. We have some instance, we've added in some extra instance, especially to help try to fight stuff like Spider-Man 2099, instant speed interaction, but you're oftentimes not leaving stuff up. And when you are leaving stuff up, it's stuff that like, well, we'll save in Mind Sensor, I guess, is a bad example because we haven't really tried it enough to show its worth, but stuff like that where it's like, okay, well, my opponent didn't do anything, I can still flash this in. Aven Interrupter, I found that like on the turns that you hold it up, you're just kind of forced to cast it on like whatever, and then you cast it on your opponent's like 1 or 2 mana spell, and they kill your Aven Interrupter, and all you've done is kind of delay their card for a turn. Not to say Aven Interrupter is bad, I think it was like pretty reasonable. It's just I think this card made it into the deck initially because it was, Ambrose's list was like pretty heavily teched against Storm, and this like second line of text here where it taxes spells from graveyards and exile was more relevant, targeting like Yogg Will stuff. I think it's one of the weaker cards in the deck. There's an argument for cutting like 5 other cards in the deck, surely, but we just gotta make some decisions sometimes when we want to try out the new stuff, right? So not gonna dwell on it too much. Easily cut like the Shining Shoal one of these days. Haven't seen a lot of 2099 lately, but I'm sure that's just the luck of the draw. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Load up. I should edit my deck list, so do that in the downtime here. Add Armageddon. Ravages of War. Flagstones. Cut Aven Interrupter. Cut Thraben Charm. We cut up planes. There we go. Stream Decker's at least updated. Tivit, huh? It was a pretty solid anti-Tivit hand. Saga's really good here against a control deck. We have like Sentinel into Cloud into like Saga 3-drop into make constructs. Very happy with this. And we're on the play. On the play with Esper Sentinel's a good place to be. We could also just leave up a Demi here. But I'm kind of fine with getting Cloud countered when we have an Esper Sentinel in play. And it forces the 1-mana interaction that they might not have. Yep. So now what? Just Clamp's always really good. I don't think I want Hand Evicta to control matchup. It's nice to clock, but it's also like not the greatest card in the face of a bunch of interactive spells. I think it's between Clamp and Formal Wear. I think it's probably just Clamp. Clamp's really broken. Although if we don't get Clamp, we could get Clamp off of Saga uncounterably. We have a lot of really solid Formal Wear targets, and they are base. I mean, they are base white, but also base black, so some of these cards I think will naturally end up in the graveyard. I think we'll just get Formal Wear. Just fetch Surveil? No, fetch the Triome, sure. Bowmaster would be pretty terrible for me. I guess we have a Demi if Bowmaster happens in the combat step here. Given that nothing's happening, I kind of just want to leave up a Demi and not play any 3-drop into there. I could just have 2-mana removal, or 1-mana removal plus pay for X% or whatever. But also we could just a Demi to counter a removal spell if that's the case. Oh, they're just Cling to Dusting, jeez. Cast a Demi here. Although casting a Demi here is bad against Toxic Deluge specifically. That's about it. I think I'm fine to just jam really aggressively. Just have a really, really powerful board presence and like just no room for them to counter any spells. We're just gonna untap and start activating Saga. Land would be nice. It's a very good land, too. Means we can keep my opponent off of casting more scary spells as well. Just send it. Oppo. What does this mean? Do they just block the Esper Sentinel here? Take 5? Does shrink my Saga constructs. It's going to be an opportunity to resolve another spell. If they block Esper Sentinel, we could just 4 more back Esper Sentinel. It's a little awkward that we actually don't have a planes to exile the Oppo with. I think I'm just going to let them block. Yep. we have a skateboard, which means we could, I think, present lethal if we just formal wear Esper Sentinel here. We'd have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then like a 3/3-ish construct, something like that. One, two, it'd be 4/4 construct actually. So we might have, we're close to lethal through our removal spell. We have a skateboard, yeah, exactly. Ooh, even bigger constructs. I'm gonna use a demi here. Esper Sentinel's just like better than the demi right now. Just sanity check on the skateboard. I'm pretty sure I have one in the deck. I do, yeah. What do they have here? Like Thoughtseize? We have them dead through Thoughtseize. Yep. Just construct, skateboard, equip, attack. Maybe they have second removal spell here that saves them, or another creature, maybe? Tainted Pact. What are they getting? With 0 mana left, I don't know what you can get. They might just be like not knowing that they're dead and planning for next turn because they don't want to pay. They don't want to let me draw another card with Esper Sentinel, so they're just casting this now. Just trying to set up for the following turn when we have them deterministically dead here. Even through like Snuff Out, right? Because the Snuff Out cost them 4 life. We still hit them for 5, yeah. There goes the deluge. Deluge. What was a plea for power? Is that just a control magic? They took Supreme Verdict, yeah. This is just a sorcery speed draw 3. I guess if you have Tivit, then it's a 4 mana time lock. But if it's not, then it's just harmonize. Sure. Did I say replays back? I did. I don't use replays very frequently, so it's not like the most amazing thing in the world for me, but I know a lot of people are missing them. So I'm happy for them. Oh no! I don't get a skateboard! They have an opposition agent! Fuck! I'm so dumb. I may have goofed here. Why'd they take my Masterwork of Ingenuity? It's just like the best card to draw after they Supreme Verdict me, and I tapped in a way that I can't Tectonic Edge them. Because I just thought they were dead. Well, shit. I think we can still recover from this pretty well. Oh, they can actually... No, they can Supreme Verdict me and then copy my Formal Wear and get back their opposition agent. Jeez, this is pretty brutal. Pretty devastating misplay to not have the ability to tech edge them here. Oh, and if I attack like that, then I don't draw a card. I'm so dumb, man. Why did I do that? Just not even thinking about the oppo. I was like, oh, my cloud's already in play. What are they going to do? Could I have played that differently, though, knowing that, like, my skateboard plan isn't going to work? I, like, never had the ability to lay down arms the oppo because of how the mana base worked out. I definitely would have tech edged them rather than, like, play a useless GT. But yeah, now they're gonna Supreme Verdict and Masterwork back their opposition agent. And we might just be fucking dead. Wait, they're... Huh? It seems way worse. But okay. Am I winning some? I would be doing better if I wasn't dumb. But it happens. Unfortunately, that would have been really good last turn and not this turn, huh? We're one turn away from the Tivit with 4 cards in hand, so we're pretty locked into having to tech edge. We unfortunately can't win the board, and we're just gonna like let them have it to fairy here. I think I just have to equip. Maybe I can play Thalia, but play Thalia say goes so bad. I mean, equipping GTA and attacking into this, and then picking it down, and then tech edging them is also pretty terrible. Without us top decking like exactly flagstones to get in productively. Thalia isn't horrible in that if they can't just play Tivit next turn, because it comes in tapped, and then if we rip planes, we can just lay down arms oppo and then attack them for not lethal. It would only be 5. The situation is why I hate lay down arms. I mean, I agree, but it also like you. If I could play 5 swords to plowshares, I would, right? Kind of the entry fee of Duel Commander is you play cards that are worse than other cards because of the singleton format, and I do think Laid Out Arms is pretty reasonable in the mono white decks. I guess I could equip Formal Awareness. No, that doesn't do anything. That trades and I don't get GT counters. I would also not be doing as poorly if I didn't goof this up, I don't think, previously with the Oppo on my Saga. I'd be curious to see if I could have sequenced those turns differently if I were actually like thinking. I think we just kind of have to do this though. Rather just not play a card that's pretty often mediocre. I mean, I disagree, but to each their own. I find that it's a pretty good removal spell in a lot of instances. Kill this thing. Maybe I should have tech edged the Rafine Star before I did any of that, if that was what I was going to do, but... So what's my plan from here? I think it's lose, but... Other than that... Damn, they had tap land? They might have on tap land too, and they just don't want to play it right now because it's not sequencing into the Tivit. I mean, my plan is just slam Thalia, and they have literal nothing, and then they can't cast Tivit. Gotta be better than casting a Recruiter or the Guard. They both do technically represent lethal, but I guess the Recruiter just gets blocked by the Tivit. I imagine we're just gonna get counterspelled into Tivit here and then die. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna eat shit. Maybe the formal return if I'd played. I never remember which to vote for. It just like doesn't actually matter. Fourth land, perfect time to cast Armageddon. Yeah, I think I'm pretty comfortable. Just they're at 2 life. They're also at 5,000 cards. They have a bounce, so if I like play Thalia, it's just gonna get bounced even if they have literal nothing. Yeah, let's go into game. Next game. Got to get ready for the leagues next week where they're finally changing the clocks back to 25 minutes. Where's our white burn spell? Yeah, where's our white burn spell that we can also recruiter the guard for? Yeah, I'll keep this. Not as good as last hand, but hopefully we won't play into the onboard opposition this time. They never even cast that verdict game one, did they? Oh, that's a really good 2-drop to have here. Yeah, quite to the top deck, certainly. I'll cast this one instead of casting Cloud. Maybe they have a wash away. Maybe they have the 400 other... Nope, they just have nothing. Sick. Wow, they have nothing again? Holy shit. They're casting Sleight of Hand? 2-mana Sleight of Hand? Wait, do we get to, like, pop off here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, attack, 7, 8, play a thing is 9. Yeah, we get, like, a bazillion tokens here, don't we? I think I'm just gonna fucking Ranger Captain them. Be a good spot for a Guide of Souls that's not in my deck, but I also think that we're massively ahead here regardless. Cloud plus 1 mana equip. I think this just does it, right? This if you make the cat token, it then checks for City's Blessing, right? So it works. Maybe we should have triple checked that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. In fact, I kind of want to just sack this Ranger Captain a little bit to play around like Toxic Deluge. Do we have lethal if we do that? Let's take a quick stop here. Make sure to stack these properly. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we could just like they might have instant speed stuff to cast in response because this is only opponents can't cast spells during your turn. But if we just like sack Ranger Captain, the voice doesn't die, untap, formal Ranger Captain, sack Ranger Captain again, they do just die. But if I sack Ranger Captain, then they kill voice in response. I mean, we still just have like 1,000 power. I'm kind of into just playing around Toxic Deluge. This is kind of a fucked up start. This is how modern energy players feel, I guess. Would you like to concede? We can go to a game 3 here, opponent. Just gonna Ranger Captain for literally anything and play Bodyguard and attack and then sack the Ranger Captain again and they take 8 billion. Hey, we did it! Alright, well. Cobbled. Scraped back in there after our game one with just a resounding murder. Jesus. Yeah, I guess cobbled is not the right word there, huh? We absolutely fucking shit canned our opponent with a modern start. Alright, this hand is pretty weak, huh? Dust Bowl's really good if we can get there. Late on Arms is basically not a card here. End step Felia into like Extraction Specialist after they counter the Felia isn't bad. The Late on Arms being like potentially a Solitude pitch card isn't bad, but also the Solitude pitch isn't very good either against the control deck. Definitely more likely to come up, but still not that great. I'm not really. I don't. The Cloud's not really a deck that can mulligan aggressively for 1-drops. I think like Dust Bowl's really powerful if we can get some sort of engine going to hit some land drops. I think I'm gonna keep this. I feel like it's just end step Philly, turn 3 Cloud. Well, it depends a lot on what my opponent does, right? There's a chance that my opponent doesn't let my Philly resolve, and then I would extract and specialist it or something. But if I Philly into Cloud and they stop the Cloud, it kind of sucks. We'll just draw 1-drop. Damn it. Would have been really sick if we just like ripped Ocelot Pride or Esper Sentinel or Mother Runes or something there. Yeah, maybe it's turn 3 Stoneforge, who knows? Maybe they like tap out weirdly. And it's not turn 2 Felia. Or maybe they don't, and it is. Getting silenced? Oh, perfect. Love that for me. That's awesome. Hey, there's our 1-drop. I would love, like, lands. That'd be cool. We're drawing pretty good cards, but lands would also be nice. Oh, dang. I can't cast a spell on turn 2 opponent? That's so mean. Can't believe you do that. So uncool of you. Okay, here's Velia. Alright, there's more lands. It's good. I think it's Stoneforge and Overcloud because I'd rather have the Stoneforge be in the graveyard for the specialist rather than risk Cloud being in the graveyard. So we're gonna pre-combat the Stoneforge because I want to be able to cast Bodyguard and like flicker with Felia, presuming that they have some sort of counter spell here. And if they don't counter this, I'm going to pre-combat the Bodyguard, so that if they have some sort of removal spell, they have to sequence it in a different way. That I can still like get the counter on the Felia. I don't think I'm supposed to lead with Bodyguard, because they always have the option to kill the Felia if they want, and if I lead with the Bodyguard, the Stoneforge gets opened up to Mana Tithe and Force Spike. And this is what the Solitude Pitch Laydown Arms is for. This is extremely good for me. It's got to be Skull Clamp as one of the things, because I want to hit a bunch of land drops so I can just Dust Bowl my opponent into next week. I almost like want to play the Skull Clamp here over the Bodyguard so I can resolve the Skull Clamp underneath counter spells too. But I have nothing to clamp without the Bodyguard, but I guess that doesn't really matter. If they're countering Bodyguard, it's not the end of the world. I guess if they like Wrath me, I'd rather have the Skull Clamp in play than the Bodyguard. Yeah, I think we'll run up the Skull Clamp. We could get formalware. We kind of already have a shitty formalware in our hand. We could get Hand of Vecna to go with the Skull Clamp. Fire Knife seems pretty expensive. Maybe we just get formalware anyway. Formalware is just like really good at putting a bunch of stats in play. Flicker Wisp? No, it's Resolving Stoneforge, not Recruiter. Gotta get. If I could Stoneforge Mystic for Flicker Wisp, we'd be cooking. Ooh. Alrighty then. I kind of want to lead Bodyguard here. Because it forces some action out of my opponent. If I lead Bodyguard, it means I can't Dust Bowl them, but I think Dust Bowling them off of 6 is like the big break point here. If I lead Bodyguard, it forces some sort of action, which means we can either Winter Moon or Formalware or something like that. If I just go to attacks... I guess maybe that doesn't change anything, actually. Maybe I just go to attacks, that also forces removal. They're letting me do all this? They just don't have anything? Some sort of like stifle effect, maybe? I could Dust Bowl plus, or I could Winter Moon plus Cloud. A little awkward given my mana situation. Dust Bowl sack the Aganjo Castle. I could just pass. I could just play the Benevolent Bodyguard now. I could just Skull Clamp the Bodyguard even, maybe. Bodyguard, Skull Clamp, Winter Moon, something like that. I shouldn't have played my land out if that were the case. Because I'm going to Winter Moon, I might want to draw basic planes instead. I could play Cloud, yeah. It's just... I don't know what this means. I kind of want to just Dust Bowl them. And then next turn we could, like, Cloud plus Clamp it for 3 mana and almost guaranteed hit our land drop again. I'm just going to say go. Question is, when do I Dust Bowl them? Do I let them have a 5 mana turn so I can Dust Bowl an untapped land to make it harder for them to counter my stuff? Just like Hand of Vecna time? I don't know. You just Masterwork for the Formalware? We're still too choked on mana to really utilize any of these other equipment, so I think it is between something like... I guess technically it could be something like Glimmer Lens. Just a cheap card that develops a threat on board is also really good with Felia. Maybe I should have even gotten Glimmer Lens, although we didn't have the Winter Moon for a 4 mana turn necessarily. But the Glimmer Lens lets me like hold up Stoneforge Formalware. Lets me like flicker things for board presence and more value. We could like cast a 2-drop plus a Winter Moon next turn if we rip land and don't need to Skull Clamp. Kind of weirdly in for that. Just literally nothing. I think I'm just gonna let them take their turn. Sack my Aganjo Castle here. What is this for? In their deck? I mean, I guess it can give your Tivit Vigilance, but do you really want to play that many, like, non-basic islands? Yeah. They did have a Stifle. This is mana neutral, but we didn't hit the land drop, so we can't play Wintermoon and Glimmerlens. And if they just counter plus slam Tivit, it's really bad for me. But I guess we can't stop that now, can we? Because it's not necessarily really bad for me. We're starting to have some sizable creatures in play on our side. It is unfortunate that this thing is pretty good against Wintermoon in that as it's attacking, they can always just like make 2 treasures every turn. Don't have a really good way to get it off the board. It's making fun of this Minamo, and now it also might like let them like attack and still have the ability to block my Felly as it slowly gets bigger. I think it's just got to be cast Wintermoon and hope that they don't have a good counterspell for it. And if they do, then we just drum, bodyguard, attack Flickerstone Forge again. Go for some like Hand of Vecna kill. I think it's Ward 3. Kind of a lot of Ward, huh? Could grab sort of Fire and Ice and just attack straight through it. Oh, this is also going to shuffle away my Wintermoon. Kind of sad. Oh, they're going to chant me. They're going to Tivit into Orm's chant. That's fine. If we just have Fire and Ice in our hand, then we'll have 4 mana that we don't need to cast things with. And we'll be able to attack them with like a 7/7 Felia or something. Oh no, we can't attack them, duh. They're chanting me. We can at least use our mana. I think I will just do it sorcery speed. I have 2 cards in hand, and they voted 2 votes for bribery, which is just treasures. Do I just want to give them a bunch of mana and no clues? They're just gonna they're 100% gonna use 2 treasures and kick Orm's chant me. So would I rather them have a clue token or a treasure? I think I'd rather them have a treasure in that case. Orm's chant, sure. Land is nice. Yeah. suit this up. See how it goes. Pro blue is not exactly the best protection color here, but we also do have a Benevolent Bodyguard in play. They're gonna get 2 clues, I imagine, here. I'll give them a treasure. Well, I guess at that point, the 3rd clue really doesn't matter that much, does it? Was things on combat damage, not attack? I don't know if I ever actually knew that. They voted for 2 evidence. 2 cards in hand. Crack clue, crack clue. I think maybe I do just give them the 3rd treasure, or the 3rd clue. They just, like, run out of the ability to, like, cast anything that stops me. They need, like, double removal spell, right? That's not great for me. We still have this beat because we can Recruiter, or we can Stoneforge Benevolent Bodyguard back and Pro Black Felia here to beat, uncounterably beat this attack through this Bowmaster. Or we could just, literally, we could just go to combat and attack through this, right? And flicker it and attack them for lethal. And then if they have a removal spell, then in response we can Formal Wear back the Bodyguard to protect it. That seems better. It's actually supposed to, I think, cast Extraction Specialist on it. And then Shock and Witch Enchanter. Wait, they're not even exiling the Benevolent Bodyguard. I guess because now I could stop them now with Formal Wear if they tried. Oh, they're gaining 3 life, right? I cannot stop them from gaining 3 life, can I? And I'm only dealing 10 here? And we're still definitely not out of it. You're a beginner to Magic. Any tips? Probably not joining a random Duel Commander Twitch stream. Probably going to your LGS and asking for some, like, starter decks. We have no way to stop this from happening. Yeah, if I'd, like, cast the Specialist on the Benevolent Bodyguard too, then I could attack with the Stoneforge if it resolved. I think we still have the potential to win. We did draw a card here without the Benevolent, or the Bowmaster or whatever. Now we don't want to Specialist back the Bodyguard because the Bowmaster is going to come back and shoot it. We can just play Glimmerlens and hold up the Formal Wear still. Think there's a reason for me to play my land. Trying to think of anything. I'd have another 2 mana, I could cast Jite. If I shock in the Witch Enchanter. I don't think Jite is really going to do anything, though. We just say go. No, I do not have any tips for you. BT. Not playing Legacy. The ban yesterday fixed everything. I mean, I think Legacy's by and large fine. I want to actually do this right now because they have Cling to Dust that they could escape. I think Legacy has some like pain points of like really bad vibes decks that are overperforming for the quality of games that they create on average, but I think most of Legacy is like pretty enjoyable. I'm not playing Legacy because I don't like it. I'm just playing Duel Commander because I'm like having fun. Like I would also probably be having some fun playing Legacy, but Legacy's not really in a space where I'm like actively tuning a deck and trying to like figure it out. The deck building puzzle is my favorite part of any format, really. And I feel like D&T is not really in a deck list puzzle situation right now, where we're trying to like figure out how best to build the deck, and we've like it's kind of like stagnant a little bit. Teferi Time Raveler, huh? Well, I have nothing to do with that. If they minus, I'd probably just have to bodyguard whatever they minus to prevent a card draw, and it always just would be taking a creature off the board anyway. We're unfortunately like a stiff breeze away from not winning this game, huh? Yeah, I think I'd rather just have Rebel Token in play than Benevolent Bodyguard and let them draw a card. Although, by attacking with the Glimmer Lens token, I am going to give them a ping, but I guess one ping doesn't matter because they'll always have the Orc Army in play, and they won't be able to kill any of my stuff. So I'd rather deny them the card draw here. Oh, whoops. Well, I guess maybe that's actually a boon. Is now that they don't get the Bowmaster ping, but I should have maybe done Pro Blue. Easy to forget about that. I don't think it's going to matter because I think the game's kind of over next turn, one way or another. We should have lethal here. Oh, wait. Oh, because we had the Skull Clamp. Oh, we'd still have lethal, I think. We Extraction Specialist back the Bodyguard and pro black the Rebel token and equip the Fire and Ice onto it. We don't even have to equip the Fire and Ice because the Tivit attacks. I mean, they could obviously hit something here to stop me from doing that. They'll probably make like a bunch of treasure tokens. But they only have one card left in hand. Bribery twice. Making... Yeah, give them a clue. They're 1 mana off of Escape Cling here. So we play land. Extraction Specialist Bodyguard. Pro Black the Orc Army. Probably equip anyway. Although I don't know, we'll be playing around Hull Breacher maybe. A flash thing that isn't Snapcaster Mage, because Snapcaster Mage still kills me. Shit. have 3 mana. Lose focus last card. We're not dead. Again, we can... No, never mind. We actually can't equip Formal Wear here to attack and force the block. If I had played the Wish Enchanter, no, because we couldn't pay for double Lose Focus anyway without tapping the Rebel token. Yeah, I don't think we can win this. Man, feels like this one was really close. We could Anthonize the Orc Army, force the jump block with the Bowmasters, and then we only go to 1. But then they get to, like, draw 400 cards, right? Eat the Cling to Dust so they can't gain life. Maybe the top, like, 4 cards of their library are bricks? I'll just give them clues because they already have enough clues. I don't want to give them extra mana. It's all bribery. Wait, no, they're voting for bribery twice, so I give them evidence. Crack 1, crack 2, crack 3. No, I just want to give them more mana. They voted bribery twice, which is treasure tokens. I want to give them more bribery. If they can only crack 2 clues, I don't. They have like infinite mana already. They're down cards, I think. But the fact that they voted bribery twice makes me think that maybe they already have the answer to my rebel token. Who knows? Hey, Luanel, thanks for the resubscription. You believe in the bricks? It's not impossible. Notably, the last turn I was thinking about like bolting the Witch Enchanter, we would be dead. So, is it better to not exile Cling in case of something like Animate Dead? They're like hard control, and also, yeah, I guess we could just eat the target, but Tivit's just going to be a hard control deck. They're not going to have any sort of reanimation stuff, but you might be right. I don't know. Maybe they could like remove the Ghost Vacuum and then in a way that somehow doesn't kill the Rebel token, and then Cling. We could also just, I think, have lethal through the Cling because we equip Sword of Fire and Ice and attack. But also maybe they could like double Cling and gain, 7 life. Yeah, they might have like a Savine's Wreck, but the tanky makes me think we're not dead. I mean, my turn's pretty simple. It's equip Sword of Fire and Ice and attack them, and hope that they don't have anything. Come on, crack. Nope, stop casting spells. Crack your clue. Crack that clue. Let's see it. Or cast like a Wrath. That's just like your only answer. We've cast Cloud 0 times. Wait, did we have like a lethal with Skateboard? Am I stupid? No, I don't think so. Last turn we only had... No, we didn't have enough mana to Skateboard lethal. But if they just minus this on the Rebel token, I think it's Skateboard lethal here. Oh no, they plussed. I always assumed it's an artifact. It just looks kind of like Shroom if you're not checking. Giant, oh, they can untap Cactus Preserve with the Teferia plus, but that's not even enough mana? They can untap their Tivit, obviously. Skateboard for second attacker is the plan here. So they can, but so if they need the removal spell as last card plus untap Tivit because like wait, does this do anything for me? Yeah, we can Jolted Awake the Bodyguard plus Skateboard Cloud, right? We have 5 mana. Although, wait, am I off? Because I also would have to equip the sword in this instance. But getting back Bodyguard is the first safest line. Because it means we can just attack and kill them through last card removal spell. Why would I need a sword? I was thinking about if they were untapping Tivit with the Minamo. So if they cast removal spell in response here, then I don't think we actually have enough mana. So this is safer to equip sword here and just attack with one creature. Because it'll be immune to Tivit block. This Cactus Preserve cannot block because they wait, no, they do have 1, 2, 3. They can't actually animate Cactus Preserve, but if they do, then it can't tap for mana. Could I tap the Manama with the skateboard? I could tap the Cactus Preserve with the skateboard too, right? And still have enough mana. Yeah. Hang on. Still have enough mana to equip sword at the end. Cactus Preserve becomes green. Yes, but it can't tap for mana is what I was trying to say at some point, which means they couldn't animate Cactus Preserve and then also cast removal spell on the Rebel, so I think it would still be safe. But yeah, skateboard here. Don't equip. Equip Sword of Fire and Ice. Oh, but then they can't make mana. We pro green. Yeah, you're right. I think all roads lead to Rome here. Think you want? I think we just win with one card in hand. I think the game's just over. But yes, I think it would have been better to tap the Minamo. What the fuck is this for? I mean, sure. You have 2 mana here? Flash Invasive. They've already Orum's chanted me. Maybe, I mean, they might just be checking for an out that they don't have, or maybe there's like some really weird bullshit that they're gonna get me with here. I genuinely don't know. Everybody lives. That one's not on Moto. Oh no! We didn't play around Demonic Tutor Wrath for 0. If we had like done this in a different way and skateboarded the cloud, could we have lethaled? God damn it. Fuck me. Was there a way there? There was, right? Okay, we're dead. We're dead. We can't win. This thing attacks us and we die. Yeah, points for them for finding the sick line. It's just we tap the Minamo and then they float mana and then we don't equip sword, right? We play the skateboard, we tap the Minamo, and then they float the mana, and then we put the skateboard on the cloud instead, right? Instead of equipping the sword there. That's lethal through Wrath, through instant speed demonic tutor into Wrath for 0, right? That's the line. Damn. Definitely thought we could beat one card in hand with them on 4 mana. Exactly. But it's really hard to think about all the different angles of stuff. I was thinking about them like animating Cactus Preserve and then like trying to block, and then like they tap it for their last card removal spell being like Plow or whatever when we tapped it, but they can't tap the Cactus Preserve, and also them animating the Cactus Preserve means that like they can't animate the Tivit, and then we don't need, I conclude that Teferi is bullshit. That's true. We can just complain about Teferi being bullshit and take our lumps. But yeah, I think if we just tap the Manamo with the skateboard, it's safe. But like it's hard to foresee the line of like, what if my opponent has instant speed demonic tutor for Wrath of this guy specifically? But I think we play around everything and then some if we just tap the right card with the skateboard. But it's tough. It's tough to like see all the different angles there. Damn, good games though. Some quality games. Even though we fumbled game 1 and 3 in a matchup that I think is not very good. So it feels good that like we had that much game in the match at least. I won't claim to have predicted this, but tapping Manamo plays around more bullshit. Yeah, exactly. I played around stuff that didn't matter. Is like the tapping down the thing didn't actually matter. Tapping down the Manamo does directly impact in that we don't have to waste our mana equipping the Sword of Fire and Ice, and we can instead equip the Skateboard to the Cloud and like play around more ambiguous bullshit. Not necessarily Demonic Tutor Wrath of this guys, although it did. We are more likely to like survive some weird corner case being their last card, which it was. So it's good food for thought. I also wanted to like try to pull up that game 1 board state where I like didn't play around the onboard opposition agent and identify what the better line was, because I thought I had lethal because I'm an idiot. I think it's just like I would have cast the maybe I would have cast the Elite Spellbinder instead of the Formal War. It was game 2 that we won. This is where we're super dead. They're playing Zorm's Chance, so they may have had Darkness as an option, just opted for Wrath style. I don't think so. I think they're more likely to have Silence plus Orm's Chant. I see Orm's Chant in a non-zero number of decks. It's mostly as like an anti-combo card that just has some you can cast it sometimes versus fair decks. I would expect Silence as a secondary option before Darkness. Yeah, it was this turn that we got super fucked on the Oppo agent. Whoops. So yeah, this turn was just I thought that we were just gonna have lethal with skateboard, and I was like very stupid and forgot about how opposition agent works. Is there a better line that leads to a tidier lethal than like just formal wearing back Esper Sentinel? It might be cast Spellbinder. We didn't really have like super great options here, honestly, given the Oppo. It's like we could cast Spellbinder, Orthalia, or make a construct, and none of those are particularly great. I think 4 more back at Esper Sentinel is kind of fine still. Like it adds a bunch of pressure to the board. It like makes my opponent let me draw a card, stuff like that. I obviously whoops. Oh yeah, I went and checked to make sure I had a skateboard. Like an idiot. I sack Academy to prevent the oust, which I think is also fine. They like cast something into Tainted Pact here. Yeah, they Thought Seize me, take the Spellbinder. Tainted Pact for Supreme Verdict or something. I'm like, okay, they're dead, and then I don't get the skateboard because they have an oppo agent, and then I fucking die. But I don't really see that much of a better line. I think the Spellbinder is good because it can attack over the opposition agent, and is just like it would have disrupted their plan somewhat. We probably would have like hopefully taken the Tainted Pact or the Oust or something. Then obviously I fucked up. Like I should not have tapped the Tectonic Edge. I could have at least tech edged them and tried to take them off of the ability to cast Supreme Verdict. Which they could have anyway, right? Their fifth land is another white source, yeah. They would have been able to Supreme Verdict me regardless, and then next turn they would have brought back the opposite agent, and it still would have been pretty bad for me. Okay. So I don't think I got like it's just like a oh duh sort of like forehead smack moment. But I don't think that there were a lot of like that much of better options there, given our state, the state of things, and the awkwardness of our lay down arms. I'm probably gonna end up playing Orim's Chint in Quintorius, huh? Kind of makes sense. I think I'm really excited to brew Quintorius. I don't know when it comes on MTGO. I think it's like the 23rd or something of April. The 21st of April is a Tuesday, and cards usually go live on Tuesdays, I believe. So it's 4 weeks from now. So if I'll probably brew the 7th or the 14th, I guess. We'll do like a brewing stream. Hyped. I hope I already talked. I keep talking about it every week, but I hope he's good and not broken because it's gonna be cool. I think if he's not like busted, but I don't know. I thought Ketchermos was gonna be way better than it was, and Ketchermos ended up being like pretty lackluster. But I do think, regardless of the fact that it's in worse colors than Ketchermos, I do think there are some like pretty substantial upsides over Ketchermos to maybe make it a viable option, but and hopefully not too broken. Planeswalkers as commanders have a pretty rough track record. But yeah, the way I want to build it is probably pretty weak to control and combo, in which case you would like Orm's Chant as a resolve your Quintorius or stop a combo deck from going off. Ugh. But yeah, next week we'll do probably just another Cloud stream. And then on the 7th, maybe we'll do a Quintorius Brewing stream. And then on the 14th, depending on how I'm feeling, maybe, I don't know. It seems hard to get a actual like testing session in pre cards being live on MTGO. I could like do some like cockatrice bullshit and try to like find some folks that want to like test meta decks with me before the cards come out, but that seems like a lot of effort, and I don't really know how useful that would be. Testing like a very unoptimized deck versus a bunch of like highly tuned meta decks versus like jamming into leagues first and kind of ironing out the kinks. But yeah, I think we'll do a brewing stream. When did all the cards come out? Is it like the Friday of pre-release? I don't even pay enough attention to spoilers anymore. No when spoiler season ends. It hasn't even started yet. I think it starts like next week, right? I imagine it'll end like pre-release day, the 21st. Kitty, enough. Leave me alone. Shit. Still getting used to my new mic position. Not that any of you can see it. It's all the way down here off screen. Good matchup for the Geddons. We drew that awkwardly in that game one, is the only point. But is what it is. The Geddons are pretty, on average, pretty useful in that matchup over like the random bullshit that we cut, especially. I almost want to know if we can cut the Hand of Vecna and then also just not play Sword of Feast of Famine, because like so Hand of Vecna has not been really lining up for me in ways that I find that useful. Um, Especially with like just less combo running around, and some of the combo decks that do exist don't really feel like Hand of Vecna race sort of scenarios. I'm kind of eyeing the Raph and Mikey deck. It doesn't really feel like a Hand of Vecna matchup, even though it's a very race. It's probably the best equipment you can go get with Cloud, but it doesn't. That deck is kind of scary fast sometimes, in a way that Hand of Vecna, and also like losing 7 life. Oh, I think they're almost always hitting you for 20 the way that they're currently constructed. So, and if you have the plow, you can just stop that creature from coming into play at all. But that all being said, it doesn't really feel like there are a ton of good Hand of Victim matchups right now. But also, Sword of Feast of Famine has just been really, really mediocre to the point maybe you can just get away with playing Sword of Fire and Ice and no other swords and just cut that slot and just play other good cards. That's a possibility. I just see all the Cloud decks just kind of playing Sword of Feast of Famine. I don't know. I've been just really unimpressed with that card. It just sometimes does his thing, but it's just every sword ground down board states kind of starts looking pretty decent. We would be playing sort of Light and Shadow, and I'm sure there would be points where sort of Light and Shadow would show up and be pretty useful, but that doesn't really make it a card I want to necessarily put in my deck. Just food for thought, random musings. Oh, jeez. Just took that tumble. Get out of here, kitty. Go bug your mom. Guess it could have been Shieldred's Edict. I don't think they play that card a lot in Dual Commander, especially in the 3-color decks. Maybe the 2 or 1 color decks will play Shieldred's Edict, but I'm just thinking about that game 3 against Tivit. If they had Shieldred's Edict, they could have tutored up that and got me to sacrifice a token. But if I had to guess, that would not be in a Tivit deck. I don't even think they always play that in mono black. Less planeswalkers running around and more creatures running around makes edicts a little bit worse, I think. The main edicts I see are Ketramos plays the Exile Edict, and they were playing a Kai's Guile, something that just has more utility. Kitty, get out of here. Come on. Shoo. Shoo before De La Ill shows up and asks for your presence. Get out of here. What's your problem? Your tail's twitching. There we go. We got match 2. There's the Reaper. King No More. I played against this once before. I think this matchup's a little bit scary. I think as Cloud, I'm more scared of this than I am of Slimefoot. It depends a little bit on how it's built, though. Last one we played against was pretty aggressively Reanimator. I don't know how much to expect that versus just Jund mid-rangey stuff that also has, Pod, Eldritch Evolution, that sort of thing to go along with their Reaper King. Either way, I think this tends just to keep. Pretty good. Happy to see it. Good against Eternal Manadork if that's what they're doing. Or not. Maybe not what they're doing. My formal wear. Pretty tragic. Drawing Lion Sash is pretty cool. Do I just run out Skateboard for mana efficiency? I don't think so. Downside of Skateboard versus Boots is that you have to sometimes save your mana to utilize it more effectively. I think it's like notably we do have Masterwork if we ever want to tap down a permanent with Skateboard, but we could get a second one. But I think on average I'm more likely to just want to cast this and eventually like give something haste down the road than tap down something. I think I am gonna run it out and then play. Do I even want to play Cloud on turn 2 into the Reaper? It's way more annoying than fucking Slimefoot. Well, I don't really want to play these against the Reaper and just fully give them a card. At least if Cloud dies, I get my equipment out of it. I would love to go get Pre-War Formalware. It was unfortunately in my hand. I would love to go get Sash, but it's also in my hand. It feels like my opponent has played no like creaturey stuff. I think they might just be more like cheetah card to play focused. I'm not guaranteed to be able to cast anything next turn, which makes me kind of want to just cast the Cloud just so I can get through the Reaper King. Because if I like don't cast anything, they don't need to cast the Reaper King, and the threat's just still there next turn. If I don't draw a land, I'm just in this exact same spot. I'll probably just get Skull Clamp here. Do your thing. Do your reaping, opponent. Cloud has been reaped. This would be honestly a decent turn to like Pride, play Skateboard, equip Skateboard, attack. I don't even know how good that would even be. I could technically do it with Masterwork, but maybe this is just like a play Lion Sash turn. Lion Sash and Pride? Surely they wouldn't somehow flicker their Reaper King, right? I guess if they do, I can always portable hole whatever they take. Just wondering if I need to be leaving up Sash if they're like weird reanimator bullshit. As much as I want to get my Pride online. I think I'll just play Sash and say go. Kind of content with this. Next turn we can like play Tithe Taker and clamp it. And probably draw into a white source. I guess we can't do that. It costs too much mana. We would need a 4th mana just to clamp it. I can't count. Don't mind me. They are... Well, that's in like some fair decks too, notably. But at least now they're just casting a 4/4. But it does feel, just based on how these first turns have progressed, that they are kind of a reanimator deck and not just... Oh. There's some Mana Dork stuff suddenly. It's hard to say what they are. Even Mind Sensor could be fun. Could be unplayable. We're really on the back foot. We need to be doing some stuff here. I think it's going to just be Tithe Taker plus Pride. They're short on mana, but they did just play this Elves of Deep Shadow. I could portable hold the Elves of Deep Shadow. Just play Tithe Taker. 3 mana means they're unlikely to do some bullshit. with reanimating stuff. All right. Only target. We can just F6 here. Alright, seeing more random mid-rangey stuff. That's, again, just a reanimator card too, though. Attack me for 7. I think we just take this. There's our land. That's good. Play clamp tithe taker, 2 mana left. I can play pride out. Pulse hold up in activation. Maybe I should have attacked first. If I'd equip skateboard and attack with pride, we could gain life and make 2 spirit tokens, but then we're... I think putting the shields down against this Emperor Bones is probably not a good idea. Upkeep Worldly Tutor? Are we just gonna get, like, Fury killed here? Yeah, I think we might be dead. Would have been nice to even Mind Sensor that. I have to imagine this is just Fury, right? Fury just fucking bodies me beyond space and time. Chaos Defiler. This seems slightly more beatable, at least. Not by much. I imagine they're gonna blow up my sash, but just in case, I'm gonna eat the Tithe Taker, I guess. Oh, they just blew up the clamp. Sure. Guess that is still pretty bad for me, huh? Wait, why is this? What happened to you? Why are you grayed out? You didn't get like phased out or anything, right? This is just in play. This is just a weird visual bug. Thinking about tapping this down. Equip attack with Ocelot Pride. Gain 2 life. Make some chump blockers. Figure out how to beat this Chaos Defiler down the road. We could like flicker the portable hole. Take the Emperor Bones away. Give them back the Elves of Deep Shadow. Not enough cards in graveyards to make Lion's Edge be able to block Metamorphosis Fanatic. Or even block Reaper King, although I don't even think we'd want to block Reaper King. Cloud. Getting something, sort of Fire and Ice? Something that I can gain more life off Ocelot Pride? Oh wait, I already cast this once, this costs 4 mana. You can have your Elves of Deep Shadow back. I'll take the Emperor Bones. Doffy is not very good for me either, huh? Unblockable. I'm going to 4 here. This is 8 damage here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Cloud costs 4. That's 3 mana left. We can't, like, get a GT going. Can't really do anything with 3 mana, huh? Gain 3 life here. We could, like, sash on Ocelot Pride. Is that our plan? Just suit this thing up. Kind of want another thing in play to like block these Mandorks from extra chip damage. So yeah, I think I'll leave up a Lion Sash activation. Maybe I need to gain 1 more life and equip the second skateboard though. Oh, they just have like removal last card. Yeah, well, that'll do it. At a virtual 3, do we have enough toughness to not die? Who knows? I think the answer's no, right? Block, 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 take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we're exactly dead here. This is 2 here. Yeah, attack all is dead. It's gonna block here, 2 here, 1 here, 1 here. Is we have to 3. Dang. Not on my A game tonight. Also, they do seem to be kind of. I kind of want to keep this hand in a weird way. I think this hand is okay. Ghost Vacuum, I do think is good against them. March of Otherworldly Light, I think will be good against them. This is maybe insane, but I'm gonna keep and then probably just like wait for Cloud on 4 or something. If I can like find a turn for Cloud, clamp it. Maybe this is an aggressive keep. Against literal nothing, maybe I'm also supposed to just jam Cloud, huh? But then what do I get? If I get Clamp, it can get Thought Seized. If I get Formalware, what happens if they just like don't kill Cloud until they Reaper King it? I guess the Reaper Kinging it on 3, which means I can just Cloud again on 4. And if they kill with something else, I can leave it in the graveyard and then get it back with Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, I do feel like this is maybe a Formalware moment. I unfortunately can't Formalware it if they end up Reaper Kinging it, obviously. Yeah, I think I just march this. And then they're going to Reaper King my Cloud, and then we'll replay Cloud go get Skull Clamp. Maybe we should have attacked first, offered the trade. There's no way they ever trade. Because we have the Formalware literally in hand. Play your land, fetch your swamp of some sort. Reaper King my Cloud. Oh, they just play Fable. Chill. You know, when I kept my hand, that was 5 lands and 2 spells. I was kind of hoping to not draw 3 more lands, but I guess them's the breaks sometimes. Now we have to spend this turn not attacking, so we can block the Goblin Shaman, and then they just Reaper King the Cloud out of the way this turn, where I have to spend my mana more awkwardly. My Formalware. There you go. Reaper King the Cloud. Or not. Sure. Yeah, I think I'm just like snap blocking this. Kind of surprised they didn't just cast Reaper King after taking like the only card in my hand that mattered. Yes. Back in the command zone. Alright. That is in fact not a land. There's 2 cards I can cast that won't get Reaper Kingdom. I'm a little concerned that they're trying to do some Reanimator bullshit here, and that's why they Replicate my Ghost Vacuum instead of doing anything else. But I don't really think I can do anything about that. It's not like I can cast Cloud and go get Sash and play Sash and hold mana open. We will obviously get the one that doesn't die to the Reaper King. Man, I almost want to sack this Ranger Captain in response. Yeah. Perhaps I should have. I mean, they could still steal the Giver of Runes, but it's definitely a lot worse for me now. They have like Reflection, they can copy the Ranger Captain to get more 1-drops. I think most of their 1-drops kind of suck at this stage of the game, at least. They're just gonna like get a bunch of shitty mana dorks. It's not the end of the world. Because they could also technically lock me out of my ability to play non-creature spells for the rest of the game. These are certainly cards that I think they're going to be a hair too slow. Sure. Not hard casting that and just fucking burying me also seems a little bit wild. They're gonna crab abomination me instead, but like I could just like hard cast it and then reflection it and just like gain 8 billion cards, but they will instead get double crab abomination. All right, we can go next. It's fine. It's fine. Why'd they abrupt decay my ghost vacuum that turn? That was so weird. They like didn't do anything with the graveyard after that. They just wanted to take it off the board. I guess the ghost vacuum protects myself from getting Reaper Kinged, right? So if the ghost vacuums in play, the Reaper King accrues less value by like putting counters on things than them shooting them with lightning bolt and stuff. So maybe that was the line. But yeah, I find that matchup a lot harder to navigate than Slimefoot. To the point that like I don't know what Slimefoot lists are currently looking like, but I think that Slimefoot like pivoting into the Reaper King versus Cloud would probably be a pretty good idea. But I don't think they'll ever Slimefoot players would ever do that. I mean, they probably don't even have it in their deck. In fairness, that card is just a lot more annoying to navigate than just like a 3/3 that makes 1/1s. Obviously, that's not doesn't go for like every matchup. Obviously, Slimefoot easily accruing value in other matchups where you're the aggressor and you're not trying to like answer cards versus a deck with a bunch of one toughness creatures, yada yada yada. But the Slimefoot players will all tell me they have a good Cloud matchup anyway, even if they're lying to themselves. Not really a nice night. I guess that's not true. I'm trying to think about these get-ins in the grand scheme of things. I was actually sent a list. I forgot to go over it. I was gonna like maybe chat about it a little bit at the top of the stream. But I saw that Cloud did top eight a 129 player dual commander event in the Czech Republic. I wasn't gonna talk too much about it because it looks like pretty stock. It looks like, people iterating on Ambrose's original list. You can tell because there's a Sun Pearl Kieran in it. Um but they had some cool cards here. They have the Arachne Psionic Weaver, a card that I was like playing. I played for like I don't remember how long the gap was between Spider-Man and Relic Fest, but I was like dicking around with Arachne a little bit for like 2 or 3 weeks maybe, and she didn't really do anything, but she just didn't show up a lot. A cool hate bear to be playing. I liked her more in the deck when it had like a bunch of Doom Travelers and like 1-drops to make her cheaper. And there are also 2 Ninja Turtles cards. Continue, which I don't think this card's very good. But Leonardo 60 is kind of cool. Return 1 or 2 creatures with mana value 3 or less. So it's like if you sneak it, it is just double Jolted Awake for 2 mana. And I think Cloud's probably pretty reasonable at casting the sneak cost, which is a bunch of like cheap creatures and stuff. It seems like pretty reasonable value. I'd be afraid of like it being a little bit too situational. There's not You do run a fair bit of times where like you don't actually have the material in the graveyard to use it, but it's a fairly powerful effect. I can maybe see it showing up. Other than that, yeah, continue is like really narrow, good against like wraths or like a board where you did do a bunch of trading all at once. But I think this card's too narrow for me to be really interested in putting in the deck. People like talked about it, but I don't know. It was like people weren't playing brought back, and brought back that can bring back 4. Like the upside seems like so high to hit. Like if you're bringing back like 3 creatures or even 2 creatures and not having to like awkwardly hold this up, it's already good enough. That's just brought back, right? Other than that, it's like pretty stock. We have this Frodo in there that I kind of hate. There's a Disruptor Flute that I kind of want to add back into the deck. This card always was like pretty reasonable. Happy to see it versus like combo decks, versus some of the control decks, a Minato especially. Nice first like Lumra and stuff too, making the commander combo piece cost more. Other than that, it's fairly stock stuff. Shadow Spear, which I'm pretty on. Feast and Famine, which I'm also in. At least they have the Winter Moon in there. I don't know what Ambrose's beef is with Winter Moon. I think this card fucking rocks. a war room in here that I don't really like. Pretty expensive. And then there's Lazatep Quarry. Card I'm a pretty big fan of. There's also Scavenger Grounds. This card seems a little unnecessary too. The mana base. Lovely Sunpearl Kirin. I get it. Everyone's got their like cool pet card. Sunpearl Kirin is definitely a fun pet card, but like I definitely don't see the vision on it as far as like trying to make the deck as good as possible. It's really good when you draw Parallax Wave, one of the best cards in your deck that you have no ability to tutor for. Oh wait, I guess you have. Wait, did that list have the Enlightened Tutor? Technically, you do have the ability to tutor for it if you have Enlightened Tutor. Is this not? Oh well. Well, the tap's gone forever. Impossible to say if they had Enlightened Tutor, but yeah. Sunpearl Kirin is cool. I'll give it that, but not much more. Ugh. Cyan Breeze in a recent vid recruited the guard specifically for Sunpearl Kirin. That's crazy. That's just like so much wheel spinning, man. Was it a recent vid? I think I remember him doing that against. I thought it was all like in the Relic Fest stream against like Aragorn or something, but. Oh, we got Tasker. Okay, yeah, it must have been more recent then. I mean, against a control deck is probably where you want that the most, right? The ability to both hold up mana and try to blank removal spells. In that regard, I think if there was a matchup where Sunpearl was in my deck and I was putting a Recruiter Regard on the stack, it'd probably be a matchup like that where like you're not answering a lot of stuff necessarily. You're just trying to kind of get more value. Like there's not a ton else you would be recruiting for in those instances, like Stoneforge Mystic or something, or like Felia, just like accrue more value. And Felia is not that good against a suite of removal spells anyway. I could definitely see it against like Tasker specifically, or like a situation where you're resolving Recruiter against control and you don't want like Solitude to answer a Tasker or something. Plenty of spots of like Legacy D&T, right, where you're recruiting for a value card and you're like, what do I get? Stoneforge, I guess? Just something that creates more pieces of cardboard to put into play. Flicker Wisp. But even then, like, definitely doesn't seem thrilling. The leagues are certainly slow tonight, huh? Usually we're firing pretty good. We got a timestamp? 22 minutes? Yeah, I mean, he's got the... Oh, shoot, we got the match started. Yeah, this is the situation where you're like, I kind of want to reset my formal wear. Yeah, but like this is just we're casting 2 mana fairy here, right? What's the 1-drop fairy that lets you bounce one of your things? This is literally just a 2 mana. God, what's the stupid idiot that Jamie loves to play in Legacy? That lets you pick up one of your own creatures or pick up one of your own permanents. Oh, we finally get to play against the Raph Mikey deck. This deck seems terrifying. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think we have a ton of ways to interact here. They're just kind of a storm deck, but their payoff is attacking you for 20. So it's, you know, a storm deck that you can interact favorably with Swords to Plowshares at least. But it's just a bunch of fast mana and a little bit of protection with the intent on just casting Raph and Mikey as soon as possible and attacking you. So you want cards like Plow or like things that prevent them from casting multiple spells. Definitely mulliganing this hand into, like, you know, Solitude Plow, either Thalia are pretty good. Like, we have a good amount of stuff that we can hit, like, not just fucking die, right? Dranith, I guess maybe not a good amount of stuff. Anointed Peacekeeper. Mindsense was pretty bad here as a hate bear, notably. Thalia Heretic Thar is really funny versus them. Ranger Captain, situationally good. The Geddons, unexpectedly absent. March, maybe not so much. But yeah, definitely shipping wood is otherwise a pretty functional hand. I think turn 4 Geddon on the play is too slow against this deck on average. I think the turn they're going for, assuming that I'm not putting up any roadblocks, is like turn 3. If I'm like, I don't know the actual math on it, but on a mull to 6, maybe I'm just supposed to keep this. And with the intent to just get bottom skateboard, getting them on 4. Maybe I'm like wildly off base. But like I was talking about earlier, this is not a matchup where we have a solid cloud bullet to want to search up either. Wonder if you're just supposed to like board into Thalia Heretic Cathar? Is that insane? That's probably insane, right? If we had Tiny Thalia, is Tiny Thalia good enough? Probably. They have a bunch of like rituals and stuff. Big Thalia was mentioned as a boarding target against Raph. Oh, okay. At least I'm not. My instincts aren't insane. Does kind of make sense, right? It like turns on all your sorcery speed removal and makes them like hard commit. Or obviously, you know, kill it, but does Cloud into hand just like erase them before I even need to like cast Geddon here? Cast Cloud, get hand, go to 6 cards in hand, draw up to 7 cards in hand, play planes down to 6 cards, play hand down to 5 cards, equip, attack for 12. It does just race them before Geddon ever actually matters. There's a chance that Felia can disrupt something, maybe? Because I think if I get to turn 4 not dead, then I just win because I have Armageddon. So I don't think I go for that line. So I hope they have like a Pentad Prism or something that I can Felia. I don't love the pause. Hopefully we don't just get turn 2'd, huh? Okay, Sylvan Library. That's scary. Let's draw Skyclave. Flicker Wisp would be really good. Flicker the Taiga, attack with Felia, instead of Flicker the Sylvan. Plains. That's also a card we're allowed to draw. Hello, BT. Alright. What happens when they cast Raph and Mikey next turn? We fucking die? We die horribly? Yeah. So that's the case, we grab Clamp. Maybe that was the play then. Turn 2 Cloud and just turn 3 Clamp it, trying to hit like Plow or Solitude. Maybe that was better than Felia. I can't skateboard them on any step that matters, unfortunately. No Sigarda's aid to Rashadenport them. Feel like I'm going to be pretty surprised if we don't get turn 3'd here. I suppose to, like, leave up a plains to, like, pretend that I have something, pretend I have plow or something. It's gotta be better than playing Ocelot Pride, right? Is giving them, like, some amount of hesitation. Again, if we untap here, I think we just win. Maybe it's just to get hand on the off chance they, like, draw low with Sylvan. I don't think we can ever kill them, right? If I have hand here, draw to 7, hand down to 6. I'd also, like, take a bunch of damage, so I couldn't, like, just free equip hand. Yeah, never mind. Okay, they take no damage. That's surely a great sign. They'll just play a fetch land and then say go. Oh, they're just killing my stuff? Hell yeah. Kind of wish I had cast my Ocelot Pride, but you know. It is what it is. We'll still have, like, a cloud and the ability to skull clamp it and draw out of it and stuff. I mean, like, get in into Pride into Clamp. Wasn't really thinking when I grabbed this formal where I was just kind of assuming that I was dead. 4 cards in hand? Maybe no get in? Maybe yes, get in still. The library does kind of let them rebuild, but they have to take a bunch of damage to do it. I was on the play. I think it's just Armageddon. I think I'm just gonna blow up all their lands. If I had some sort of protection creature in play, I'd be much more into. The Draenith Magistrate. But obviously, if they just have, like, a, another removal spell, we just die. Yep. Well, yeah, they could have gone to the Draenith. I'm gonna put this back in the command zone. I guess no. Again, I don't think it matters here. If I ever have 4 lands, the game's over. I'm gonna leave them in the graveyard. Land Pride. Hopefully rip another land over the next 2 turns. Play Draenith. Start clamping cat tokens. They can obviously Sylvan to rebuild, but we did blow up 4 of their mana sources at least. And they have to beat the Draenith now. Presuming we will eventually get to it. Really just using this thing as a Miri's Guile, huh? I at least a little bit regret not playing the Pride, but there's a fairly reasonable chance that my opponent, because I left up the plains, opted to go with the Lightning Bolt Dead Gone turn instead of just killing. Like, they could have easily had +3 mana Raph and Mikey me that turn, but we're like, leaving up the mana when I know they have Skull Clamp in hand. Maybe they're, like, holding a plow this turn. Maybe I have to wait, and I have these removal spells to try to break up the, like, Clamp Cloud and then go for the following turn. Obviously hard to say. Alright, getting more removal spells out of the way for my Drannith Magistrate's big. Go get him, Drannith. They're down 2 3 damage removal spells. There's still obviously like Lightning Bolt, Flame Slash, maybe a few other random stuff. Honestly, if I miss on the land, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to equip the Skull Clamp to the Drannith and open it up to 2 damage removal spells. I can't imagine they have that many shocks in their deck though. Outside of this Dead Gone. Just cycling with Insist. I assume this cycles, right? Yeah. Deal. We'll just draw land. It'll be fine. Fuck. Alright, I think we actually portable hold the Sylvan Library. That does seem better for me than equipping. If we miss next turn, probably just have to equip. Alright. Their Raph Mikey has Shroud, sure. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully we just rip the land. Ooh. Now we can hold up Swift Reconfig on our Drannith in the case of a creature removal spell. And then it's just an artifact that sits in play. That prevents them from casting it. That seems pretty good. We keep drawing good cards here, but we can't cast any of them. Alright, sure. There's no way I can attack this thing. I doubt they can't even have creatures to fight, right? Then maybe there's some token generators, but like they have to have all like huge hits. I won't cast the Skateboard this turn because it's lethal next turn too, and it puts the shields down on my Swift Reconfig. Yeah, exactly. They play like 3 creatures in the deck. They might have some like token generator. I imagine there's like a like Minskaboo is probably in this deck, right? Just because it's like too good to not play in your colors. But we have Swift Reconfig to try to beat that. Yeah, maybe some other random token generator that could fight my Drannith. Something that makes some 2/2. God knows what. It's like so Kenzin doesn't do it, right? Because it only makes 1/1s. I'm just trying to think of ways that this Domri could actually take the Drannith off the board, and I think it's like very minimal. I mean, I'm just gonna shoot my shot, go for lethal next turn. They're not killing my Drannith. If I draw the land, too, we'll be especially safe, but... Or we don't draw the land, that's fine. I think it's pretty safe to just go for it here. Even if they kill it, we draw 2 cards, and if we hit a plains, we can jolt it awake back the Drannith. It's like, we just want to go for lethal there. Alright, that was pretty nice. Geddon showing up pretty relevantly there. I think we lose that game if we don't cast Geddon. Maybe, I think probably, right? Because they had the Dead Gone, right? And they would have just gone to the Drannith on end step with their 3 mana and then probably just killed me. Yeah, I'm not 100% on what their like critical turn is. Thalia, board into Thalia. I think so. Like the best thing to do with Cloud in this matchup, like I was talking about before, it's not really a Hand of Vecna matchup because I don't think Hand of Vecna races it that well. Although we did, oh no, because they had a bunch of like removal spells that killed the Felia and stuff, right? So not necessarily a bunch of removal spells, but enough interaction to where Hand of Vecna is not really a great plan here. We don't have Thalia one, like 2-mana Thalia, which is maybe as good if not better. But I mean, THC is pretty good at breaking the turtle, or at least slowing it down a turn. And then suddenly it plays into like your ousts, your on thin ices, um, some of your other stuff. I'm sure give you extra draw steps to answer it. We'll try it. We're trying new things, right? Not every day you get to board into Thalia Heretic Cathar. Ooh, we gonna steal the play. Hand is not that good. Certainly would be better with a with a cloud here, but I think I keep this. We'll draw a 2-drop. We'll draw Cloud. Cloud's on the top of our deck. Not Cloud, but I'll take it. Maybe I cycle this Jolted Awake, honestly. Jolted Awake is nice sometimes, but without Cloud, access to Cloud, we don't have Dranith currently. We may just want to start like looking for other stuff. But it is also like a Solitude pitchable. We're not really looking for anything yet. We're probably just gonna go Cloud or Thalia. Thalia's gonna die. We're gonna like Ranger Captain. Maybe we're supposed to Ranger Captain into Benevolent Bodyguard first, actually. Turn 4, Benevolent Bodyguard plus Thalia Heretic Cathar. That's probably the play. If that's the case, then we want to keep the Jolted Awake because it can protect the Benevolent Bodyguard. Or we have that, huh? I think we still just do this, though. Benevolent Bodyguard. Yeah, against 2 open men. If they had like tapped lower, if they had like tapped out this turn or something, I'm more happy casting Thalia. Probably just never sacking. I guess if they like cast a ritual that isn't like actual Iron Crag feet, I'd sack. They like Seething Song. Then if they have, I guess I just don't really care. If they had like Spirit Guide Raph, we do Solitude to protect anyway. Do they have like protection like out of hand to protect the Raph? Do they have like Not of This World or something in their deck? I imagine so. Oh god, this is just makes Raph and Mikey cheaper. Sure. Not of This World makes a lot of sense. I imagine there are maybe a couple other cards, but not too many. I can't imagine you're just like playing the 1-mana hexproof things. That seems pretty inefficient. When you have a lot of other ways to try to beat instant speed removal spells, like the Steely Resolve. Like, I feel like they're not playing fucking Blossoming Defense or anything. City of Solitude, yeah. Defense Grid. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Not of This World because it's literally free, and not a lot of the other protection cards are, like, literally free. Alright, Alright, Dolly, show me what you got. I have sequenced my mana pretty poorly. Because if I draw Get In, I have to play my tap land. But I don't think that would matter. I think our best draw here is still probably Armageddon by a pretty good margin. But I'm also feeling pretty comfortable. We got 7 power in play with Reverent Mantra and Solitude back. And potential to sacrifice your Captain of Eos if we're like really scared of something. Desperate Ritual. Going to 3 mana. Raph Mikey costs 5, correct? Yes, so this will be 4 mana. They could easily just go land drop Raph, but it would become into play tapped, and then I could untap and just hardcast Solitude on it. Which I would be fine with. And if they have like more rituals into like some other bullshit. What's happening? Why are we ritualing out this Basalt Monolith? I'm scared. That's it? I think, yeah, I feel like that was like Ranger Captain bait. I guess that doesn't do anything right now, huh? Maybe they cast a removal spell. I think I am still probably casting it over holding up Hardcast Solitude. Although Hardcast Solitude is representing lethal. Let's attack first. Maybe they might cast like a removal spell here. In which case we had to go crazy because we get a Jolted Awake back to the Benevolent Bodyguard and Wintermoon them. Yes! This is what we want to see. I suppose we could have like tried to lethal with Reverent Mantra instead. And then hardcasting Solitude or whatever. I think we're fine. They do have a lot of mana, though. It's not that much. The only command zone does feel good. They have a lot of like ways to permanently boost their mana. They're not like just a storm deck. Because they have all these like mana rocks and stuff, right? The Wild Growth, Utopia Sprawls, these Monolith, Urza's Incubator, stuff like that. To the point that I think Small Thalia wouldn't be very good. Thalia Hereticar does just delay the problem, notably. Like, if they cast a tap Rapha Mikey, you do still need the answer. But also, like, if we had played, like, turn 1 Thalia would have been maybe okay here, but they could still play through Small Thalia here rather than Big Thalia. If we didn't have the Solitude back, I think they could have, like, raft me last turn, potentially. Or at least this turn. Like, I would have had to, like, maybe sack the Ranger Captain last turn, and then this turn they could have easily just raft me. Making a move. I don't know what move we're making, but we're doing something. Oh, we're raffing. Sure. Yeah, tapped Raph. Did you gain a fair bit of life? Raph only costs 5. You didn't need to tap that, but maybe they want to do something with the last red mana. Maybe not. Maybe not. Um, I think I need to play around Not of This World. If I hit them for it reduces my clock by a lot. But also, I don't think they're ever winning. Hang on, let's untap. I'm putting them to 4 and then hard casting a Solitude. And then they gain 7, they go back to 11. So net neutral. But I'm gonna have 7 power in play, and their Raph will cost 7 mana, and they will be with it. They'll have a tapped Basalt Monolith, and only untapping 2 of these things. I think it's correct to play around Not of This World here, but and sack my Ranger Captain. Wait, does Not of This World even do anything against Solitude? Is it like counter target spell the target? Can they counter abilities? I haven't actually seen a Not of This World in so long. Not of This World. What do you do? Counter target spell or ability that targets a permanent you control. This spell costs 7 less to cast if it targets a spell or ability that targets a creature you control with power 7 or greater. Okay, yeah, it does counter my Solitude then. Alright, yeah, we'll play around it. Maybe I was supposed to do this on their upkeep, actually, so that they couldn't cast any spells that turn. I don't think they'll be casting a lot of spells next turn, but it's probably just better to do this in upkeep anyway. They could have like another. They could untap like mountain plus land, and then cast some sort of 2-mana rock of some kind that I could otherwise stall a turn. So now Raph Mikey costs 7. The Stallion working really well with this Winter Moon too. All their non-basics coming in tapped under the Winter Moon. Sacking Crystal Vein. What are you? We're making blockers. Reb Blightsteel. Blightsteel, really? This card seems a little bit loose into the like 2 toughness worth of blockers, isn't it? I've seen like, I guess this thing could go for like Emrakul, and you get to keep the thing in play, right? It doesn't just go back. I thought I saw usually stock 3 creatures that weren't Blightsteel. It was like 13/13 Emrakul, Wordled Spineworm, and something else. I don't know. People are still figuring out the deck though. Probably some of it is figuring out the best configuration of giant threats. Wait, why did they only get 2? Oh, because the Blightsteel. Wait, the Blightsteel went back in the deck, so they don't get to put it in the graveyard. That's really funny. I've never seen that interaction. That's crazy. Because the Blightsteel shuffles itself back and oh shit, that's really fucking good draw. um Hit you for 7. I think I Ranger Captain for a 1 and just don't play it to hold up Reverent Mantra, because I think we have lethal anyway, right? Yeah, because they'll have 2 blockers, and then we'll have a 5/5. Oh, they'll block the 5/5, and then they'll have 2 blockers here, and then 3 power for 4 power total. We'll get through. I guess we could also like Benevolent Bodyguard, the 5/5. Oh no, these are colorless. Never mind. We could get like Giver of Runes, but then if they have some like weird, I don't know, damage based Wrath, I guess then the Ranger Captain still. All roads lead to Rome. They're like tapped out under a Winter Moon. Everything's fine. We're good. We could play this Forge Tender. I don't know. What's bonus commander? Raph and Mikey, Troublemakers. It's like a green red sneak attack deck, kind of. The whole deck is basically just like a bunch of mana and some protective elements to play Raph and Mikey and just one shot the opponent with a few creatures that are in the deck. It's a really cool new deck, honestly. Guess I'll leave him on screen for more than like 5 seconds. Beautiful art. People hate on a lot of the Ninja Turtle stuff. I don't know. I think it's. I mean, this is like the cool promo too, so it's got like the actual like old cartoon art. I don't know what the regular card looks like. I'm pretty neutral on a lot of the Ninja Turtles cards. I think the set went a lot better than Spider-Man did, even though like personally I would like the Spider-Man cards more. The Ninja Turtles, both the cards and the set in itself, just feel a lot more, or at least like in touch with like I don't know, power level, card like interesting cards. It is definitely like a lower powered set, but it's not like Spider-Man low powered. I guess 2099 is like arguably the best deck in the format, but I think on average Spider-Man's cards are like pretty unplayable. How many Spider-Man cards does he play in like any format? Did anything show up anywhere besides Duel Commander? All right, so what's my plan here? My opponent, I totally zoned out of what was going on. I think I'm just gonna attack all, and then they're gonna die. Right? They block this, they take 4, die. Cool. I did my math correctly. Multiversal Passage. That's true. Yeah, Multiversal Passage was a good one. Yeah, Hydra Man sees the microscopic amount of play in standard. Fair enough. This is correct. What about Turtles cards? I have no idea what's going on in standard. There Turtles cards seeing play in standard? Opponent, please just die. You have 2 cards in hand. This decision can't be that hard. Oh, attacking. I respect it. Nope, not attacking. Oh, yes, attacking. Nope, not attacking. I think my opponent's salty. Are you getting that vibe? That they're upset that they're losing here? That's the only thing I get from attack, don't attack, attack, don't attack, attack, don't attack after like waiting around a bunch is that they're like upset for some reason. But why? They're down on clock. It's not like I'm like slow playing them or something. They're just like mad that they lost. Who could say? Leatherhead? Leatherhead. Leatherhead Swamp Stalker. Gets Hexproof counter, and you deals combat damage, you remove a counter. Naturalize. That's pretty good. Probably pretty good against the stupid deck that has a bunch of artifacts and enchantments. Blue, red, the what's the fucking the lessons deck, right? It has a bunch of like discard and hard to kill, blows up monument, blows up the stupid talents and stuff. Are they still attacking and not attacking? Oh no, we've gone to their second main. Ooh, we're getting somewhere. Oh, we're making mana. Are we going to control Z the mana? Recreate their Eldrazi spawn? No? I can do this all day. Opponents being mad really doesn't phase me. Wait. We're gonna chill, hang out. Oh, they're sacking 2 spawns. We're gonna cast something, maybe? I am ready for Seekers of Strixhaven, though. I think I'm just pumped for seeing Quintorius and trying to brew something. I want to like buckle down and brew with Quintorius. There's a chance that Quintorius is good enough that like I take it to the Dual Commander tournament in May at Cool Stuff Con. But it would be like kind of a rush. There's like 3 or 4 weeks between that, and I'd have to like acquire cards during that time, so very limited opportunity to actually test. Ooh, we are casting a card. Holy shit. Coalition Relic has hit the stack. Alright. Got my hopes up. But we've seen like no Strixhaven cards. Does it feel like the Magic set spoiler seasons are shorter than the Universes Beyond set spoiler seasons? Or is that just because people complain about the Universes Beyond spoiler seasons for longer? Because we'll see like 2 cards and people will start complaining, whereas we've seen like 2 Strixhaven cards, but people don't complain about it because it's a regular Magic set. It genuinely might be that the UB spoiler seasons are longer. I don't know. Oh, we're controlling the Coalition Relic floats. Yeah, I think my opponent is pretty salty about losing here. It is what it is. We'll chill out. They're not even floating mana in Wooburg sequence. Come on. You're not going to like float white, control Z, float blue, control Z, float black. They went blue, black, green, red. No respect for the game. They might have floated white. I wasn't paying attention. Float blue again. Not floating white because they're losing to mono white, maybe? Who could say? Ooh, I was just thinking. We finally got Secrets of Strixhaven previews. Wait, we have Mystical Archive cards? I don't remember seeing these ever, but that's kind of sick as hell, honestly. Mystical Archive stock up that's pretty hot, honestly. I respect it. When were these spoiled? When did this happen? This is so long ago. Oh, Jesus. January 27th they announced this? Yeah. We've only seen the face cards for these decks. I imagine the biggest reason I'm like holding off on brewing Quintorius for a little bit is I imagine there will be like that this is going to be kind of the thing that red white is doing, and maybe there will be some other like a new activator, some ghost vacuum, relic of progenitus, scrabbling claws shaped trinket, like another one to put in the deck, or some other interesting payoffs. There's a possibility that there are a couple of cards that they would want to add. But we've only seen like 5 cards from the main set. They have started to like piecemeal these from the magic. These are magic stories, right? Yeah. We're seeing like a couple of cards. I do love a frog. I can't remember the last time I did a frog ratings. It's probably the last time I got my tattoo, which was before I moved. Probably only like 5 months ago. Can't imagine that many frogs have come out since then. Opponents really invested in running out the whole clock, huh? I thought they would get kind of like bored and stop doing it at some point, but because they like took some game actions, I assumed they would like get to the end step. But no, they ran out of things to do, so now they're just tapping and untapping the coalition relic. Oh well, it is what it is. Interesting. Does the opponent decided this is a super unfair game to get mad at? Yeah, kind of crazy. The entitlement, and then they just concede. They got bored. They were determined to run out. Let's see here. 11 minutes of clock, 12 minutes of clock, but then they're like, these last 6 minutes aren't worth it, my time. But the first 12, it's like, gotta fucking show this cloud player what's what. It's like, nothing even happened. Like, what? I really don't feel like anything was like that anger inducing. It's like, I don't know, your deck lost because you got Geddoned, and then you burned 3 answers on things that weren't Drannith Magistrate, and then game 2 you died to like Volley Heretic Cathar and removal spell. I don't know what you want from me, but some people are just really sore losers. Good learning experience at least though. That the Raph and Mikey deck I don't think is like it's obviously a pretty powerful deck that's been showing up a lot lately, but it's not like the boogeyman gotta like play 5 anti-Raph cards. Gotta Does the inactivity timer pause when they float mana? I don't know, but if it doesn't, then they could have like gone to the end step and salted some more, and then like gone to my upkeep and then salted some more, and then gone to the draw step and salted some more. Like they had plenty more opportunities to rage and tilt. But yeah, we don't have to suddenly like play Ethersworn and Archon and it, I'm trying to think of any other cards I would like put in my deck and try to beat Raph and Mikey. Containment Priest and a bunch of other random bullshit just to like hedge for the Raph and Mikey matchup necessarily. Obviously, sample size 1. My opponent was raging, maybe not the most quality opponent, but I think it of the decks that like abuse fast mana throughout Dual Commander history, I think the one that like also has to beat Swords to Plowshares is a much more healthy place for the format to be. In a format like so inherently creature based, it's a, like kind of a storm deck, but you also have the ability to cast removal spells against them and have them be relevant. So I think it's both like more balanced and like more beatable. I'm also now realizing that the Swift reconfig also just like stops the Raph Mikey. The game one, I was like, yeah, I could like Swift reconfig my Draenith Magistrate to like protect against the Raph Mikey. You can also just Swift reconfig the Raph Mikey, huh? But yeah, that deck has to jump through a lot of hoops. They have like a bunch of like uncounterable stuff to try to beat the counterspell decks, but like if Aragorn's got like a plow and a mana leak, then you invest a lot of resources trying to beat the mana leak and you lose to the plow, and vice versa. That deck definitely has more axes to interact with than like a lot of like the storm decks past. So I think it definitely felt more reasonable so far at least. Another +1 for Armageddon though. Like I was talking about, I think there's a distinct possibility that I just cut the Hand of Vecna and then I just don't play another 3-drop equipment, maybe? That's maybe sacrilege. It's maybe heresy, but no one out there is telling me how to play Cloud anyway, so maybe we just do that. Maybe we don't need another like 3-drop equipment slot. Because I kind of hate sort of Feast and Famine. I think Hand of Vecna has pretty bad lineup against like the current combo decks are more interactive than the old combo decks were. Enough that Hand of Vecna has gotten a little bit worse. And if we're on like get-ins, if we're boarding into Thalia Heretic Athar versus Raph and Mikey, like the Hand of Vecna to clock them isn't as important. If Hand of Vecna gets cut, maybe we play Thalia, Small Thalia 2 to board in versus like a random Storm deck, if those are even around. Roptimus Prime, thanks for the follow. Also, sorry, BT42010, I missed your follow as well, I think. Much appreciated, though. Thanks for all the follows today, guys. Chat. Oh, we can go back to that, the Ambrose game, where he just tutors Sun Pearl to pick up the formal wear and the 1-mana formal wear, and then clamp the Recruit of the Guard, and then replay Recruiter of the Guard. I wonder if he even like clamps the Sun Pearl cure in here. Wait, isn't he just gonna fucking lose this game? Wait, what's about to happen? He's at 2 life and they're 2 lethal attackers. Is he gonna win? Maybe he like draws. He can still play a land, so you clamp the Sun Pearl trying to hit, or can you bring back something relevant? Maybe we have this Sigarda's aid. Can we like farm more back Cloud relevantly? We have 1 energy for this Guide of Souls. We have a Stoneforge Mystic. Our Solitude's already dead. I don't really see a good path forward here. You could almost, if you had a skateboard in your deck, you could almost kill here, right? Masterwork Formula back, Cloud, get skateboard tapped on Tassiger is 5 damage, which is almost 8 damage. let's skip ahead to see if he has anything here. Yeah, you just have to clamp the Sun Pearl because you don't have any lethal. You need to draw like double plow or something. Oh, 0 mana masterwork, huge. We now have Tasker only has 1 card in hand, so we could potentially chump. We'd have to double chump though. Yeah, we get back Sun Pearl, pick up the 4 more again. Okay, double chump, and then do something. Oh no, there's a tar pit too. He's just dead. Oh no! We could cast it with flash for free and get a third. Wait, how are we beating the unblockable one though? Cloud. Get a free Shadow Spear? Alright, he's kind of cooking here, honestly. Two, 4, 6, 7, 8. Do we have lethal with 8 mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, we're 1 off. Oh, the Boseiju on the Shadow Spear. No. That's so sad. That was a really fucking sick line. I think he's still in a tough spot, though. He has... Well, he doesn't have this land, right? Because he got Boseiju. So he has 7 mana. He has 8 mana here, but it's 3 to equip, 3 to equip, 1 to equip, and then 2 to equip the Shadow Spear. So it's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's 1 off of being able to, like, suit up the Sid with everything and attack for 8. Sun Pearl Kieran was Sun Pearl Kieran-ing. He did some cool stuff. But, like, also this was just, like, a pixie, right? What's the fucking pixie's name? I can't spell. Ambroise demonstrated why he loves Shadow Spear more than Law of Whisper Roots. He almost had lethal if he had a skateboard in his deck. If he had a skateboard in his deck, he could have tapped down the the tar pit instead of getting the lifelink thing that got Boseiju. Nurturing Pixie, that's the card I'm thinking of. Sun Pearl Kieran was like was literally Nurturing Pixie this game. That's definitely a position where I would recruit that sort of card, though, when I have a bunch of mana and a bunch of creatures in graveyard and pre-war formal wear. Atraxa, huh? This hand's pretty stinky versus Atraxa. Urza Saga is good against Atraxa. I don't know if it's good enough to keep this hand. Portable Hole is close to a blank text box. Is just turn 2 Cloud, turn 3 Pure Steel, start activating Saga good enough, maybe? Probably not, but what am I mulliganing for? Geddons? Maybe I need to stop keeping 5-landers and it will increase my win rate. Fucking like 0 mana that sequence that he had there with like the drawing the Sid and then casting the 0 mana Masterwork and then the 0 mana Shadow Spear and stuff. That was really sick though. It's really cool. It's kind of tragic that it didn't end up working, but I think he doesn't win there. If the last card is Boseiju, and he taps down the Tar Pit, then he goes all in on the Sid. He equips everything onto the Sid because he has 8 mana because he doesn't have the Shadow Spear anymore. So he actually has 3+3+1+1 to make an 8-power Sid, but then he gets one of the he gets one of the Form Wars Besage and then he loses in that situation. But like skateboard, almost really good there. There's like a part of me that wants to just slam this portable hole to buff the constructs. But also this deck plays like Psychic Frog and stuff. I'd feel really fucking stupid if I cast Portable Hole for no value and then my opponent cast Psychic Frog. Terrifying. I always hate watching my opponent resolve Demonic Tutor, but it is what it is. Manti with Slap here. Manti will go crazy. I kind of want to put the Manti back in the deck too. That's another card that Amber always cut that I've kind of wanted to put back in the deck a little bit, but like not exactly the same, but similar to the Aven Interrupter at least. It can be definitely be awkward to hold up that mana sometimes in a deck that taps out as much as Cloud does. But maybe it's just like good right now. Enough control and combo around. The Tasker video, Ambrose is playing a Manti? Weird. How recent was that? I don't think he had Manti in his like weird aggro list. And he wasn't playing it in his like old Relic Fest list, so sure something changed his mind on it. I have no idea what they demonic tutored for. I think I'm just getting Skull Clamp though. Oh wait, I'm going to discard? Whoopsie. Well, Portable Hole, you served your purpose. That's what. Oh no, I didn't cast on turn 1! Maybe I was supposed to actually cast Pure Steel there. Oh, we're just fucking dying. That's what's happening. Yeah, not a lot of conclusions to draw from like the random aggro list, given that it was just a 5-0. He could be doing anything. I've 5-0'd with much worse looking deck lists, certainly. I think. What did they like demonic tutor for something that lets them cast the Stream Halls next turn or something? Demonic tutor for what fast mana could they have here? I don't think they're going to be playing City of Traders. Are they playing like the super like combo heavy attacks? I feel like I don't usually see Idyllic Tutor. But we haven't seen a lot of their decks, so we'll see. I think I kind of want to hold up Mind Sensor here as like kind of a rather than play Ranger Captain, like sack it here on the off chance they get Dream Halls next turn. I'm gonna like try to hope to snipe a fetch, get lucky or something, and then Ranger Captain on the 5 mana turn. I should look at his list. Are the deck lists posted from that video? Or would I have to like pause the video while he's fetching and kind of recompile his list? What? They demonic tutor for 3rd land drop? Could be. Like, they led on this Odawara, which is pretty conspicuous. Maybe they demonic, but then why would they demonic tutor for Watery Grave? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, sure, whatever. I think I have. I think I would have lethal if I had played the portable hole on turn 1. No, my portable. Fuck. List is almost 2 months old. All right, yeah, it's probably not really that interesting to look at then. I don't even think I care about this Tameo. I guess it like blocks, but I'm just gonna tap it down once and then kill them. This is exact lethal if I had portable. No, it's actually 2 over lethal if I had portable hole. Oh god, planar genesis into land drop into third, another land drop and dream halls me. No, we're gonna fucking die. We can actually win potentially, but probably not, given that they'll have the dream halls. I guess maybe we could do something. Beating a dream. Oh, they missed land. Cool. Huge. Sure. Don't think that card does anything here. I think the play is play Ranger Captain, grab Bodyguard, sack Ranger Captain. Is there anything I need to play around here? They're at 2 life. Solitude? I think they're just dead. Should figure out the best way to kill them. Oh, there's Solitude. So technically they are alive in this board state because I just can only attack with 2 creatures and kill them. We could just play Pure Steel and attack with 3 creatures. We could play Pure Steel and Skyclave. The Tameo could play Ranger Captain, sack it, play Pure Steel, equip the skateboard to it, attack for lethal. Then if they have Subtlety on the Pure Steel, then we can't kill them. I think we're just fine. I can't think of another free removal spell. I think they just die. I guess Skyclave plus Pure Steel just takes out like a bunch of things. Yeah, okay, they just die. Cool. Because if I Skyclave this and play the Pure Steel and put the boots on the Pure Steel, then if they have removal sword for the Skyclave, we still have 3 attackers. Well, that went a lot better than I thought. A turn 2 demonic tutor for something, turn 3 idyllic tutor for Dream Hall's game would have gone. Take a quick peek at this old Ambroise list, but I imagine he's probably just kind of playing the same thing, huh? He's still playing Portable No Seam Rip. Something that I just feel like I see way more often than I understand. Other than that, it just looks a lot like his old, like his Yeah, it's the Mana Tide. It looks like a lot like his Relic Fest list, yeah. He still has like the Restoration Angel and the Sid. Remorseful Clerics on Pearl Kirin. A lot of his cycle flavor cards. Nothing super exciting going on. Saving Mindsins are good in this matchup. Don't actually know. Flash, notably, is just kind of generically okay. We also like didn't see a lot of their deck. I guess with like the Tameo, the the Solitude and stuff, they aren't like on like the super aggressive cheat tracks into play. Spellseeker. What did they pitch to the? It's Shorikai. Yeah, I think they're just on normal tracks. Just with an Idyllic Tutor, I guess. I kept another hand that's gonna have to fucking discard a card. Casting Cloud on turn 2. Fuck. Any tech from the Cloud deck that top 8 of the big tournament in Prague? I don't think so. I talked about it a little bit. Nothing particularly interesting. They had Arachne, which is like, a card I was toying with pre-Relic Fest, and thought it was like, moderately playable. It gets a little worse that all like the 1-drop Doom Travelers in the deck. They had Leonardo's Technique, which I think is like kind of cool, maybe. And they had Continue, which I think is not that good. Maybe they'll just counter my Cloud. Damn it. Just want this to not resolve. Is that so much to ask? Can I just get like Formalware and discard my Recruiter card? That's maybe stupid, huh? I think we just discard the Anthenice. We have Solitude if they end up with a creature they didn't play, like Tameo or Frog by now. If that's the case, then I still don't think I get, like, Sword or Clamp. Next turn I have 3 mana. Play Mind Sensor. Next turn I have 4 mana, which is like Recruit, maybe a 1-drop. Maybe the Clamp's just okay because I have Recruiter. Yeah. When in doubt. Guess I shouldn't have 6 because I'll happily Solitude something if they like flashed in some weird thing that I'm not thinking about. Yeah. Maybe I'm supposed to discard a land. I hate discarding lands though. They're so good. I love casting spells. You played in that Prague tournament? Nice. Got your ass beat? Less nice. Lots of Uharis. Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of don't know what I'm expecting because I've never been to a paper dual commander event. So like I don't know who's showing up to fucking Cool Stuff Con in Texas with a dual commander deck besides some random dual commander devotees. I think we just hold up Mind Sensor here. And then, of course, there'll be like 2 people that are lost and accidentally signed up for the event thinking it was just regular commander. Missing land drops again. Huge. Love that for me. Resolved. Also huge. Everything's great. Ravages of War. Great. I think I just fucking fire this off. I think I'm just gonna cast it. Maybe not. 4 mana is not exactly their breakpoint. We'll attack, see if they want to like flash in something. Sure. Don't like that they only used 1 mana. Maybe we just play like Mom plus Recruiter here. I think I'm gonna phase out my Mom here. Cool. Could take this opportunity to just draw 4 cards, but then I'd discard 1. Although I could draw a 1-drop in those 4 cards. Drawing 4 cards is really good with my plan of cast this Ravages of War, but also they have 5 cards left in hand, so there's no guarantee that my Ravages resolves. But I do love drawing 4 cards. They missed a land drop. The odds of us hitting a 1-drop are pretty good. Yeah, fuck it. Well, we tried. Good effort. Maybe they'll tap out for something stupid here. No! Well, the jig is up. I don't think they're going to tap out for something stupid. Felly is kind of cool. They're 10 life, huh? We could recruit something and then play land and then flash Infelia just to, like, to really apply a bunch of pressure and force them to, like, try to interact. They unfortunately know about the Ravages, but hope maybe we can force this game to go in a way where they have to be doing other things. I think I'm just kind of pricing to cast the Ravages next turn. Maybe I'm supposed to cast it this turn to beat like Dream Halls, huh? Does Dream Halls let me cast things with Flash? No, that's just Allurin, right? I suppose I could get Cathar Commando. It also gets back my Leyline Bind, gets back my Mom, worst case. It's not terrible. Obviously, they would get an Atraxa, and that would probably still ruin me, and I would have to, like, pitch cast the Cathar Commando and then pitch cast the Solitude, and we would probably die horribly. I think I was maybe supposed to Ravage. I don't know if I could win even if I resolve Ravages. They had 3 mana up that turn. They just have a removal spell. We only had 1 land to rebuild with. Our Skull Clamp got countered. Might be a little tough. It's kind of nice to be able to try to get more of a board state to seal the deal with Ravages. But also maybe I was supposed to play around the Dream Halls, huh? Oh. Huh. Alright. I think I'm gonna just bait here and cast this Cathar Commando. Although maybe that's stupid. Maybe I'm supposed to just Felia. Felia's also really good against the Shurikai, right? They only have 1 mana up. I feel like they're just gonna die to the Ravages. Yeah. Maybe they have Force of Negation? Maybe they don't, and they're just gonna die. We get to attack and like just flicker out the token. Maybe we draw a land. We can cast the Cathar Commando too. Nope. Cool, we did it. We blew up all their lands and then they died. These, I don't know. We've been, we're hitting some like crazy good matchups for the Gettons, right? There's a lot of worlds where you play against a bunch of like Slimefoot and Uharis, and like situationally it's okay against Aragorn, but can be tough to cast there too. Stuff like that where the Gettons don't line up, but we're also just hitting a bunch of like control and combo decks where you just get to fucking send them back to the Stone Age. And I think Cloud is like a little bit weak in some of those matchups, right? I think that some of Cloud's worst matchups are like Elminster, Tivit, Atraxa, some of the combo decks, I think. Like, I don't think Lumra's that great, because Azusa is really bad without the Gettons. Like, so like Azusa Lumra, probably not great. I don't know how the Raph and Mikey matchup is, but feeling it out there, I think it's like kind of okay, but it's another matchup where just the Gettons really improve your prospects. And it definitely felt like those were the biggest gains from like trying out Ambrose's experimental aggro list. Is that the Gettons were just like consistently pretty good. Kind of just happy to have them in the deck. I was pretty happy to have them in the original list, and then Ambrose cut them, and I just kind of followed suit, tried it out, and it felt pretty good. But notably, I think in his winter interview, he talked about the Azusa matchup being unwinnable, and he didn't want to play bad cards, like Armageddon, which I kind of do get. Like we were just talking about, a lot of matchups where I think the Gettons have a little bit of a poor lineup. But maybe Cloud can just like power through those matchups anyway. Your 2099 matchup's pretty good. Your Slimefoot matchup's pretty good. Your Aragorn matchup's. Raph players have been saying white's the worst color for them. That does make sense. The average black and red cards don't kill Raph very well, right? Everyone's playing like Bolt and Fatal Push shaped cards. A lot less stuff that kills than that colors. And like a lot of their deck is built to fight blue like counter spells. So I think some of the toughest cards to beat are the Source of Plowshare stuff. And then in addition to that, the white decks also having like a bunch of like hate bears to try to interact with. Lumra kind of feels unwinnable with Gettons. Yeah, that's how I imagined it went. Azusa was pretty unwinnable without like hand and or Gettons in the mixture. And Ambrose's conceit was like your Azusa matchup's unwinnable, and that's fine because Azusa's not very popular. But like as Lumra has picked up lately, it's probably worth considering the hammers that were really good against Azusa, and that you want to play them against Lumra now too. I think there's a very good case to just be playing the Gettons again, and they have felt pretty good. All these matchups so far. Hey, Dayla L, I'm back. Are we 5-0? We 5-0'd 3 times while you were gone, and we're just playing the fourth league just for fun. And we lost the first 2 matches, though, unfortunately. That Traxxas player was not good at hitting their land drops, though. That worked out very well for me. Ugh. More than a league in 3 hours. That's cap. Hey, recently I had a really fast league. I think it was in like the past 2 weeks or something. I posted a video to YouTube of the stream, and it was like 2 hours long or something. It was crazy. Where was it? Yeah, 2 streams ago. It was a 2.5 hour long stream. It was crazy how fast that one was. That was the trophy. That was when we trophied with skateboard. And then the league after that immediately is 4 hours and 44 minutes. Jesus. I'm like looking over at my own channel and looking at the thumbnail now, and now I'm mad about it again. The fact that Icehead Golem was in that fucking aggro cloud deck. God, Icehead Golem is such a fucking embarrassing card to register. Everything else with that list aside, Icehead Golem is so fucking bad, man. We don't need to play Artifact Isamaru Hound of Konda. Why aren't we just playing Isamaru instead of that? What the fuck is... I didn't even think about that card. I was thinking about all, like, the Savannah Lions, but Isamaru just is like that, but it has a Ganjo synergy, right? Better or worse than Hexplate Golem? You're gonna make me fucking search cards? Hexplate Golem... Wow, this card sucks. 7 mana, 5/7, huh? From Mirrodin Besieged. Just... That card's pretty bad. I'm back on mono white decks and dual commander. Slimefoot is overrated and boring. That's what I've been saying for like years, or I guess a year. Slimefoot's it's literally just like the Jund. It's like 2017 Jund for dual commander. It's a deck that's like pretty. It's like fine. Got a lot of pretty okay matchups and like a lot of generically pretty okay cards, but I don't think it has a lot of like crushing matchups or anything. You takes back that Hexplate Golem slander. Dude is kicking it in a field of Hexplates. That is true. The art's pretty good. It is a golem covered in Hexplates in a field of Hexplates. What's a Hexplate? Any lore on that? What's the Mirrodin Hexplate lore? Are hexagons just the most efficient planet tiling thing? Ask LSV. Just also in Conspiracy and Battle Bond for no fucking reason. Wild. Anyway, don't worry. I'll convince you to play Quintorius after it comes out. Surely Quintorius will be the cool savior that the format needs. Back on Felia, because vibes better than better. I mean, yeah, if you're just like playing like FNMs or whatever, definitely just play for vibes. I respect it. Felia was always really fun to play. I do miss it. I like. We've tried to play with Felia like 2 weeks during winter break, and just neither of them fired at all. And they're just like, well, this just isn't. The fates have decided that I just should never play Felia again until they ban Skull Clamp, I guess. That was wild. You played win duels? I mean, if you really want to win duels, then maybe you should play the better one, but I'm not anyone to tell you what to do. Alright, it's taking too long. I'm running to the bathroom. Feel free to roast me about how Felly is better than Cloud or whatever while I'm gone. Ugh. Roast when the person being roasted isn't present is just mean gossip. True. You guys can be mean in chat. I've been in Harane's chat before. I know Twitch chatters can be mean. You have better Felia coded outfits than Cloud coded outfits, and dressing for topic pictures how you manifest into this is honestly I respect that. That's a good take. Color coordinating your outfit and your deck is a level of dedicated to the game that I aspire to be. One day I'll show up to an event in a Cloud cosplay. Harane, it's impossible not to make fun of. I mean, you're not wrong. What do you want, kitty? Are you here because DayLoL jumped in chat? Is that why you're here? Stop drooling on me. Your mouth is so wet. What's wrong with you? Ugh. The Felia playlist and the Felia fit. I'll be so locked in that I won't play sloppy. What's the Felia playlist? What? Link me a Felia tune. I've unfortunately been playing a lot of Mugenics, and so the entire soundtrack is. So I've been listening to the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is fucking banging, but it is very cat forward, so which is unfortunately probably the opposite of what a Felia playlist would entail. Mugenics fucking rules, though. I've burnt so many hours of my life on this fucking game rather than like testing. I haven't played Mugenics, but I watched the friends and the soundtrack is incredible. The soundtrack is fantastic. I have been listening to the playlist on Spotify. There is literally not one skippable song. I haven't listened to the last 4 yet though, because I haven't listened to the songs of the areas I haven't gotten to yet. But the songs are just fucking bangers non-stop. Incredible fucking soundtrack. They gotta like win soundtrack of the year or whatever the Game Awards. I don't know, a lot of time left in the year for someone to release like E33 fucking soundtrack again, but it's really good. Unfortunately, I can't play any of them because I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike or whatever. YouTube's really aggressive about that stuff. So I just opt to never play any music ever. I mean, listening to me ramble in silence is probably better than listening to Hurrian's playlist anyway. Eugenic soundtrack is way better than any right to be right. It is. It's just so unreal how good that soundtrack is. Just completely unnecessary how hard they went. It's like that old Vine of the Tarzan soundtrack Vine of the guy going, you know, this is a film about a guy raised by monkeys, right? You didn't Phil, you didn't have to go this hard, Phil. That's how I feel about the Eugenic soundtrack. You know, this is a game about like a bunch of cats, right? We really didn't have to fucking lock in. Some people don't like it. I've cut those people out of my life. Someone, I can't remember who, someone told me that like I have to like play the game on mute because the soundtrack is like so unbearable. In completely insane take. The best soundtrack I've heard since Expedition 33, which was only a year ago, I guess, but just all bangers. It's like better cat themed Mac the Knife. Cat the Knife. Exactly. I actually don't think I've ever heard a Mac the Knife song. Kitty, can you get off me? Ugh. Let me cut your nails. Literally, the only thing I know about Mac the Knife is that I very recently learned that McDonald's got sued at some point for like one of their like they had like a character in like the McDonald's character universe that was like a parody of Mac the Knife. So it was so close that they actually got like sued by the estate or something. Bad kitty. Yeah. That's I mean that's like the classic eating rats. It's like it's the first song you hear basically, but besides the tutorial song, which is also good, Catfight, but the tutorial song or the area 1 song Eating Rats just has to be really good. I think my favorite is Chaos right now though. But just they're all good, just all of them. There are only 5 that I haven't heard because I haven't gotten to them yet. This says Failure Vibes and isn't aggressive hyperpop like the rest of the playlist, but it's French Canadian. All right, well maybe I'll listen to this later, huh? I could just play it only for myself and no one else could hear it and just give my reaction in complete silence as I listen to it. There's music videos on YouTube for most of the songs. Are there music videos? Like straight up? I only found like OSTs that just like, you know, like lyric videos and stuff. Kitty, get out of here. Shoo. Eugenics music videos. Well, we got nothing to do while we wait for our last match. The Eden Lights live. I saw that. Eugenics teaser, official trailer, Eugenics OSTs, official lyrics videos. Maybe it was in here. Oh wait, I think I did. I think I might have found it. Wait, are these stills or are these? Yeah, no, this is not a music video. This is just slowly zooming out on Radical Rat. Maybe I just saw that Eating Rat's video a bunch of different times. That was one would be quite possible, honestly. Listen to a very contextual music with no context. Perfect. And then none of chat has any context either. It works. I mean, if we're gonna sit here for another 3.5 minutes, maybe I should put on the fucking doggo song, huh? Just for me. And just keep sitting here chatting. Anyway, if there's anything important to take away from this video is that you, the viewer, should go play Mugenics. Anything by Astrid is basically puppy girl music, and Felia is puppy and girl. Do you play Astrid in Felia in paper? Then it would be really good, right? Astrid, isn't that card something that people play in Felia sometimes? Astrid Peth or something? Makes food tokens or something? It's not like it's a Doctor Who card, isn't it? Am I crazy? Is that card like not called Astrid? Astrid. Yeah, Astrid Peth. I've seen this in Philly lists. I think it's not very good, but I've seen it. I refuse to read any of those. Fair enough. It would just make sense for flavorful reasons if you're putting on a song by someone named Astrid and putting the card Astrid in your Felia deck. I think it flavorfully works, if nothing else. The dog's just like intently staring at me off camera. I don't know what her problem is. What do you want? I shouldn't have asked. Hey, go. Lily's mad at something down there. I'll have you know my Hatsune Miku Bracket 2 commander is Doctor Who-less. Hatsune Miku's a playable dual commander, right? Yeah, the green one. Yeah, I guess there's also Child of Alara Miku and Brago King Eternal Miku and Feather the Redeemed Miku and Giada Font of Hope Miku and Freyalise Miku. Giada Miku has good vibes. I respect that, yeah. I think, like, how long ago did Giada get printed? If I were, like, paying attention to Duel Commander like, when Streets of New Capenna came out, I think maybe Giada would have been cool. Like, Felia, when there weren't any good mono white commanders. What were people even doing in this format pre-Felia and mono white? I guess Light Paws. Mana Dork that attacks in mono white is banger. Yeah, exactly. It's probably worse than playing Momo now, though, huh? kind of is a better Angel commander than Giada in some ways. Unfortunately. No, because Momo is in Hatsune Miku. I mean, can't argue with that logic. Momo is not, but like, but back then, I guess. Oh no, not back then, because Momo was just printed. Dead format. I mean, the format has like pretty rough on MTGO. Usually they fire pretty quick, but sometimes you just don't get the last match. But yeah, Duel Commander has been having a tough go of it on Magic Online usually. I've been trying to think of ways that you could like actually get more people playing, and I think it's just kind of tough. Like we've seen this also be happening with like the no ban list modern, and it's really hard to like just get people consistently playing in like challenges and stuff when there's no the grinders aren't here to keep the format alive because there's no like, showcases or things like bigger events to grind for. So the format enthusiasts can only go so far. Pre-modern has had like a surprising amount of like consistent support in a way that I like couldn't. I mean, I don't know how big the pre-modern crew is, but like they're like huge events firing off overseas, but people have like 900 people at Relic Fest, but we have 131 active players in a Dual Commander League. Like, just no one over in the EU wants to play on MTGO for some reason, I guess. Been trying to think of like ways that could make the format more attractive to a broader group, but it's tough getting your niche format to more eyes on it. I think it would help if there was like an event to work towards, but I know that it's really unfortunate that there's apparently some like French gambling laws that are getting in the way of like putting a ticket to French nationals as like a prize for like a big online tournament or something to make a moto tournament that is a qualifier event, because I think that would be really cool. But apparently there's some like legal mumbo jumbo that inhibits that, and it's really hard to like put anything else as a prize that would attract anyone to show up, right? We're not going to like make this a showcase format. So how do we get people to show up for an event when like the grinders don't care about it? Like the only like Pioneer's been on life support for like 2 years, and the only reason it's alive is because like grinders play it to qualify for the mocks and stuff. How do they have a functioning society? Does functioning society mean that we can't like play have a competition online for a prize? Like, I understand that there are like gambling laws in place, but like, I feel like there could be a line between pulling the fucking slot machine and competing in an event, right? I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like there's a middle ground that could be had here. Somewhere between that and the current. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I would much rather be on the French side of things than the current fucking what are all like the gambling hell apps that are just like you get to gamble on literally everything that goes on in your life, just complete just barren hellscape of a society. Absolute fucking nightmare stuff. I would much rather have all of that banned and also not be able to compete for things on MTGO than the opposite. But like, there's a again, we could find a middle ground, I'm sure. It doesn't help that like the fucking betting apps are being taken advantage of by the people being bet on though. Fucking like press secretaries getting bet on like how long their speeches are or whatever, and like abruptly ending, and making millions of dollars and all that. It's just society's in a bad spot, huh? But hey, at least OpenAI died today. Exciting news, right? Perhaps the first domino in the AI bubble bursting. Anybody? Not exactly popping bottles yet, but it is exciting. Yeah, I saw a bunch of tweets about it. The something something the video AI sort thingy. When do we get to execute Sam Altman? I'm sure that's coming down the line. Disney backed out of like a multi-billion-dollar contract with like OpenAI something. Sora's getting shut down. That's what it was. Yeah, I forget exactly what the details were, but hopefully everything else explodes too. Hopefully this is just the first domino of many. We can get excited. You know what? Maybe this last match isn't firing and we just go to bed. I'll give it a little bit longer, but we're like 2-2. We're not doing anything exciting. We'd love to play a fifth match, finish the league, but if we don't, it's probably not the end of the world. I'll sell my pinky if I never have to read a Chat GPT email again. Fuck. It's so awful when I Google things and then the very top result is like just the worst bullshit that you've ever seen. That's just like being pulled from Reddit and just like, please, I just want to see a human telling me a thing that I can verify with my own two eyes instead of just some random regurgitated garbage. At Grok, please tell me the opinion that I should have on this thing. It's okay because it's leading to Skynet enslaving us all. I mean, it might be better than what's happening now, honestly. I should at least be showing the deck. I don't know. I've been sitting here on this. If people are tuning in, they can at least see what we got going on here. Can I move these cards around? No, I can't. Not while we're here. I was thinking about like identifying some of the weaker role players in the deck right now. What was I thinking about? What was I talking about earlier? Cutting hand potentially. Even mind sensor certainly isn't showing up that much. I think that's about it, honestly. I think these are like the main flex slots that I would consider cutting right now. I'm pretty happy that like maybe you could consider unexpectedly absent kind of a flex slot, but I've been very happy with it. It's just like 2 mana, fairly unconditional removal spell. I mean, I've also been happy with Shining Shoal. It's just like a meta call against a bunch of 2099, but I understand that it's like pretty narrow and can be kind of weak in some of the other matchups. I just like Shining Shoal and Filia, but Spider-Man ever. Yeah, exactly. I think it's definitely fairly weak, but it is very strong against specifically Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is everywhere, so I think it's like a pretty reasonable tech option right now. But yeah, I don't think I would really cut. And maybe I could be talked into this Extraction Specialist being kind of okay. cuttable. But that's like about it, I think. I mean, we talk about these get-ins. These are like the test slots that we're doing testing right now. They could easily be something else, but they've been really good today. They were really good last week. I think they're correct to play right now. So yeah, I think these are the cards I'd consider cutting most. I think Hand of Ignis first. Quite honestly, I think it might just be correct to just play one, just like one less equipment, and just be fine with, you know, formal wear, Sword of Fire and Ice, GT, Skull Clamp as like your big ones. Then you have, Sash, Glimmer Lens, Skateboard, Masterwork. Just not playing like a Sword of Feast and Famine or something. Just playing an additional card somewhere else. Fitting a Mana Tithe back in there, maybe? Maybe we go like minus Hand of Vecna plus Mana Tithe. We'll maybe keep the Hand of Vecna around for a little bit longer, though. I just have not played against a lot of Lumra. I think Hand could be useful there. A matchup that's fairly uninteractive and racing focused. It's faster than Azusa, which makes me a little bit concerned about the quality of the card. Maybe we can put like the Aven Interrupter back in, maybe too. I forgot to add the cards to my flick slot, so I'll do that before people yell at me in the Discord. While we're hanging out here. No, flick slot signed me out. Fuck. Alright. Flagstones of Trocare. Add one copy to main deck. Armageddon. My internet is struggling. What's going on? What happened to my Armageddon search? Hello? Oh, there they are. And Ravages of War. And we cut a Plains. We cut the... Where is it? Thraben Charm. And we cut the Aven Interrupter for now. Alright, there we go. Flex Alt list is updated again. Eodan, I don't understand your question. All right, we may have to call it here, huh? No fifth taker tonight. All right, well, maybe we'll do some wrapping up, and then if it happens to fire, then we'll re-wrap it up after. But yeah, we talked about last couple of cuts for other tech choices we might make in the future. Maybe play the Aven Interrupter again. Maybe play Ethersworn again. Ethersworn's probably pretty decent against Raph. The Manatithe, I think I like to add back in. I think Manatithe is pretty reasonable versus both control and combo, which both seem like fairly high play rates. It's a little awkward versus 2099, I find, but it's definitely got its spots. I liked the Heretic Athar pivot versus Raph. I think it seems better to me than small Thalia pivot. So I might keep trying that if we see more of the Raph deck. Other than that, I don't know. I think I like where the deck's at. Pretty happy with it. We'll play some more Cloud next week, and then I think the week after that we're gonna do a Quintorius Brewing stream to get ready for the cards showing up on Moto. I think it's 4 weeks from today we'll have the kitty. Kitty, not the time. I'm trying to wrap up the stream. Kitty. I think 4 weeks from this stream we'll have the Secrets of Strixhaven cards, and we'll do some Quintorius testing. But let's just go find someone to raid, because it seems like we aren't firing that last match, huh? Hopefully no one watches this video on YouTube and didn't fast forward through all this stuff and just sat here for 40 minutes watching me ramble with some chatters. But hey, if that's your thing, then, you know, maybe that's fine. Who's streaming some Magic? Ooh, someone's streaming Legacy? Hell yeah. Alright, we'll go race them. Raid. Race? Raid? There we go. Alright. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you had a good time. Sorry we didn't get to finish out the league, but you know, we were 2-2, kind of an average day anyway. Boring, nothing like playing for a 5-0, blah blah blah. We'll be back next week, like I just said. Back next week, more Cloud. Leading up, getting a brewing stream, which I know people don't like to watch as much as I like to stream them, but you know, I sometimes do stream for me and not for all of you. Hopefully, some people will hang out for the Quintorius stream. Sure, there are a bunch of cards that I'm not thinking about that people will be able to suggest. And I'm excited for it. I've had my brain's been humming about this Quintorius card for a while, and hopefully it turns out to be pretty good. But I'll ship y'all over to Pimp Donnie, I suppose. Legacy streamer I've literally never seen before, so cool. Big fan of people playing Legacy. All right, catch y'all next week. Have a good one.